Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Camp Hustle One here, back with another live stream. Tonight we got a good one. We're going to be giving our review of the film Obsession by Curry Barker, and I got two special guests with me tonight. I got to be talking with Tea and Toast with Ghost, and also AJ from AJ Rants and Reactions. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right. Good evening, gentlemen. You may unmute your mics. How are you doing tonight?
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
How's everybody doing?
Yeah, so tonight we're going to be giving our little review of the film Obsession. I've seen this probably 6 times now. I own it on Blu-ray, and I also have it digitally on my computer, so I've been watching it, as much as I can to kind of get as much material in terms of questioning that I'm going to be going through, in terms of plot synopsis, theories, and just what would you guys do if you guys had a one wish willow. I know you guys had taken the time as well to watch the film, I hope.
Yeah, so I just watched it on Thursday night, and it was fantastic. It was a great film. So I'm a huge film buff, so I was born in 1980, so, the 80s was one of the best decades for films, but I was a latchkey kid, so my dad's best friend owned a video store. So we had Betamax and VHS. So in first and second grade, I was watching like Indiana Jones and Predator and Godfather and all these movies, and that made me start to appreciate film. And it was really refreshing with the last, 10 years of trash movies to actually, or especially the last 5 years, to actually see something that was so simple and so well put together. It was well paced. The tension was really good. It kind of reminded me like a Danny Boyle film, kind of like an early Danny Boyle film with like the tension, the silence. There wasn't a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? And the low budget nature of it, and we could probably talk about this more. But if you watch things like the early seasons of It's Always Sunny or like Get Out, where they didn't have a big budget, you notice how they don't have a lot of scenes outside and they only film in like 4 or 5 locations, but the movie still seems like it's okay. They filmed in his house, the diner, their workplace, and that was pretty much it because the budget was low. So the fact that they made $480 million off of a movie that was filmed in like 5 locations is just so cool, and it's a big FU to Hollywood right now. So I enjoyed it, and I'll probably watch it again. So
yeah, I think it took 20 days, I believe, to film. They had, I think, a total of like 5 locations. The outside of the bar was actually the outside of the video store, just from a different angle. And then all of the car scenes used LCD screens for the exterior parts. So I thought that was pretty clever as well. Ghost, what did you think of the movie?
Overall, it was good. I had to watch it in clumps because I was at work and I was trying not to laugh at certain parts. And it wasn't because it was ridiculous. It's just my sense of humor tends to lean towards the darker side of things. So I didn't want to just start busting out laughing and get weird looks at work. So I had to watch it in parts. So there's that. But overall, it was good. It did take me back to a lot of the older horror movies before everything just became just slasher flicks. So that was good.
Yeah, I think this was more of a thriller than a horror movie.
Yeah,
movie, which is
when you watch the original Exorcist and compare it to what you have in a lot of modern movies, Obsession did a lot better job of capturing the suspense and horror there than a lot of modern movies have.
Absolutely.
But I think it was very, very minimalist because there were scenes where it was dead quiet. And it's just like, I am so uncomfortable. Or like, what is going to happen now? Or how did he end up here? And think about the type of director or the type of like direction that it takes to have them laying in bed or have her just standing there. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah, the sound design played a big part in the film in terms of like the jump scares, and also Indy Navarrette's acting as well. she hit a lot of her marks on like the first take, which was, kind of put Curry Barker kind of at ease, like that first scene where on the bed and, she kisses him and stuff. And then she kind of like jolts out of it. That was the very first take. And, he was kind of wondering how deep she could actually go with the role. And I mean, in my opinion, I think she killed it,
I mean, if she nailed that stuff all on the first takes, that's A-list acting right there.
Yes, it is. And I think too, did you notice there was one thing that this movie did that movies in the 70s and the 80s did that they just threw you in the middle of the story.
Yeah, it didn't really hold your hand too much.
Yeah, no, but like the story just it started. It was just, and then it ended, and you didn't have to know much about their backgrounds, what their motivations were. They just kind of put you in the middle of the story, and it just ended there. There's a couple movies that I can point this out with. I just have to think about it. But like in the 80s, they did that a lot, where this person's on a train and then this happens and then da 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 da. And you don't really like need to know much about where they're from or what they're just there. And then they have to do said thing. And then there's villains or whatever. But they just throw you in the middle. But they don't have to take all this time just telling you about this long backstory of blah blah blah. It's like that doesn't really matter when it comes to a really good story. So,
and it kind of mimics real life too, because we all kind of come into each other's lives kind of in the middle, and we're actually left with the movie with more questions than actual answers.
And to a degree, that's actually what you want, because that makes people want more.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of people are clamoring for a sequel, which that's actually one of my questions. Do you think Obsession, not the world of Obsession, but just the actual movie, does it deserve a sequel where we follow Nikki in the aftermath of the first movie?
No.
Do you think we need that?
No.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
I think that the mechanism of the wish, kind of like the monkey's paw, the stories where they have the multiple stories of the monkey's paw where someone finds it and makes a wish. People should find those wish things, and they should have different movies of that happening.
There are plans for that, actually, to turn it into a TV series. I think like a limited TV series where every episode is kind of like its own self-contained story.
That would be good. But Nikki, like, honestly, where else is there to go other than I don't know, she confronts the supernatural head on, or I just don't really care. Like it was a self-contained. Okay. Look at Highlander, the first one, right? Highlander was a self-contained story. The moment that they made a sequel, it sucked. Why? Like the first Highlander film, it was perfect. It threw you in the middle of the gathering. It gave you some backstory on Connor McLeod, but it wrapped it up, and now I don't need to see what happens next. They made the show fine, but if they were to actually the story of Nikki doesn't need a follow-up. But I want to know more about those wish-making things.
No, I agree. I mean, there was other stuff on that shelf too with the One Witch Willows. There was a voodoo doll. There was a couple other things that could possibly lend themselves to their own self-contained story if they wanted to do that. But as far as Nikki, I do believe in Curry Barker's next film, Anything But Ghost, there's supposed to be like some news article where it plays for a couple seconds, and it just kind of talks about, some lady, basically being charged with 2 murders and possibly a third. And it's just like an open case, and it shows like her mugshot and stuff. It's just a really quick like reference, and that's what they're kind of already teasing already. At least that's what I've gotten from my research. And I mean, I think that's kind of fine. Like, we don't really need to know what happens with Nikki. I think just leaving it ambiguous kind of gives us our imaginations to kind of do the legwork for him.
Yeah, I could see them doing like a split slash Invincible thing. Not Invincible. What was that movie with M. Night Shyamalan? The first one that had Bruce Willis.
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable, and then they did that, and then they did Split, and then they did the last one. Maybe do like 1 or 2, and then bring her in the third one. Maybe like at the end, but they have to establish the universe and actually show like other people have had this happen. And the actual theme where like be careful what you wish for is such a great the timeless story point. Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it, you know?
Yeah, but
And that could be for anything, money, power,
that's what makes it
fame,
like
you know?
to me. It makes it like it should be just one movie, though. You know, like
Yeah.
it's kind of like the first Matrix. You know, like it's perfect as a self-contained story. If you add any more to it, it almost takes away the mystery of it. The more you explain it and the more you like delve into it. And like, if you have the character Nikki trying to like figure it out and maybe trying to figure out a way to like destroy them all or something so that nobody has to deal with it and stuff. I don't know. It just seems like, the wrong direction.
That the mechanism, like if they would have had the Matrix, maybe have Neo and like number 2, but then do like 3 and 4, just like the Matrix itself. But the mechanism of the wish making things was that you could make as many movies or series about that as you want, because clearly other people have had it done before. The lady said that people complain, meaning that she's seen people not be okay with this at some point, you know? So
Right. Well, I mean, I think her having firsthand experience would be all the motivation she would need to kind of be like the Laurie Strode of this whole series and stuff, kind of like the overarching person to kind of like put a stop to it. But then at the same time, it's like, how are you going to stop something that after it becomes so popular, you know? Like if they were to like do this thing where after this little story hit, like in the Obsession world, you know, like it becomes a commercial hit. So then everybody's doing it. People are doing like online TikTok reviews and stuff of it, whatever. And it just blows up and it just becomes like this worldwide sensation. It's just going to become something that's like beyond her reach, you know?
Yeah, I do think though that this movie made so much money that there's going to be a whole bunch of pressure from the studio to make slop.
Of
You know what
course.
I'm saying? Like they're gonna do a TV show, they're gonna do a web series, they're gonna do all this other stuff.
Absolutely milk it dry.
Hopefully
Absolutely.
the director or the writer is gonna really, really have his hand on it and be able to leverage this IP because you can keep this going for a long, long time. But this is one of the most profitable movies of all time.
Absolutely. I think it knocked off, I believe it was Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee movie, I think, that was sitting for like 50 something years. I think.
No, I think it was Blair Witch.
No. I just looked at it. Go look at, I might have to pull it up, whatever, but I know that Blair Witch was number 3 because I looked at the list earlier today. Enter the Dragon was at the spot that basically was taken over by Obsession for like 50 something years. And
Wow. That's impressive.
But the thing is, though, with the timing that Enter the Dragon came out, adjusted for inflation, it's like $3 billion, dude. So, like, if we're talking about, like, you know, today's money, I would still say that Enter the Dragon still has the top spot. But if we're just talking about just numbers, just on a piece of paper, yeah, it has upseated that.
Yeah, but any movie that costs, I would say, less than $13 million that makes 6 figures. That's not because Get Out cost like what 10 million or whatever and made 400 or 500 million bucks. And then Blair Witch, and then there was another one that only cost $3 million.
Dude,
but
speaking
that Backrooms did really well.
Dude, speaking of Blair Witch, bro, they're thinking about doing a remake. I just saw that today. I just saw that today, and I'm like, you can't be serious, because a lot of people thought the first one was boring, and then of course when the sequels came out, we were like, oh, this is trash, you know. The first one,
I didn't even see it. I couldn't even watch it.
Oh, shit.
No, the sequels, no. I saw the first one, and it was all right, and then 2, 3, 18 or whatever they're on now. No thanks. You know,
it started off the found footage genre, I think. You know, like it really commercialized it.
That's where VHS came in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember those movies?
Oh yeah. Exo Charles, welcome to the stream. Hello everybody. Watched Obsession last week and it was great. We don't need a sequel, but they will make it anyway because it brings money, and Hollywood loves money.
Yeah, anything that I can see, like indie games and indie films need our support, you know, because every time Do you buy that ticket or you buy that indie game? It's a big fu to all these stupid, Disney and Ubisoft and all these idiotic companies that have been feeding us slop for the last 10 years.
I was looking at the
So
numbers for I think Supergirl. I think they made like 120 million or something
yeah,
after like I
on
think
a budget,
on a crazy
yeah,
budget. It was like I think 180 million or something like that.
and that's without the marketing.
Yes.
The marketing was like another 140 million. Or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, they got cooked pretty bad. But no, I mean, in terms of, I guess, just the popularity of this movie, it has been kind of divisive and kind of shedding a little light on incel culture. Anybody that has the take that Bear really wasn't the villain, he was more of the victim of the story, or people just identified with Bear like all throughout the movie and like kind of defended him all the way throughout. It's like it's really shedding light on people's morals and just people's willingness to kind of hand wave away certain acts that Bear did in the movie to just be like, well, he loved her, but then these people don't really understand what love is, and neither did Bear.
Well, first of all, incel culture is such a small group of people that it's nowhere near the mainstream. Like, if there's one group of people that I shit talk, it's incels, because they're the most pathetic group. I'm telling you, on my channel, I chastise and critique modern women, but I have disdain for incels because they're entitled, woman-centric goofballs. All right, there's not the two things that the greatest coach or mentor can't fix is laziness and cowardice, and that's the incel mindset. It's just ridiculous. And they have this victimhood narrative. I hate victimhood narrative. I am black, so I'm used to the whole black victimhood thing. But these women won't have sex with me, and it's because of Chad and blah blah blah. It's like, bro, have you even tried? Do you even understand that you could at least go out and get in shape and at least try? But they don't even try. It's all theoretical to them, and that's more apathetic than anything else. I can say that a lot of guys did identify with Bear because we have been in the friend zone, right? And it can feel hopeless to be in the friend zone. But here's the thing. That's why you don't allow yourself to be in the friend zone from the jump. One of the most toxic places for a man to be is in the friend zone. I call the I just see you as a friend the kiss of death. Because that's how much it hurts, guys, when you really, really like a chick and you try and, come at her romantically and she gives you that. Guys, that's the kiss of death. It's game over. No more pass go. No more collect $200. But it's these simps that think that they can just hang around for long enough and one day she'll just pity you and be your girlfriend. That's just pathetic. And guys, she's not your friend. If you've come at her romantically and she said no, guys, she's not your friend because it's not a reciprocal relationship. She's going to be getting the boyfriend experience from you, but she doesn't have to do the girlfriend stuff. How many times have these girls asked their guy friends to come and fix stuff around the house, change their tire, all these things that they should have a husband for? They're going to get out of their guy friends. If they're sad or whatever, he's going to want you to take her out to dinner and all these things that you should be using your time and effort for improving yourself or dealing with a woman that's going to reciprocate. Period. Men and women really can't be friends unless she's a woman that you've been friends with since childhood, or maybe she's a coworker and she's married and you're married. You guys are cool. But even then, you don't hang out just you and her. You know what I'm saying? But men and women really can't be friends like that. And then back when I was young, my dad didn't have any female friends, and my mom didn't have any male friends. My mom didn't just go hang out with some random guy when she was with my dad. You understand? So that's just how it works. But I hate to jump on the soapbox, but that was one of the things about the movie that pissed me off is all of this could be it was unnecessary because either shoot your shot and take the L and stop talking to her, But don't do this whole, oh yeah, my cat died and I love you and all this. What are you talking about?
Well, Bear was playing the long game. Okay, 7 years. 7 years he had this crush on Nikki, and he never once flirted with her because he didn't want to lose her. You know, he knew that he
didn't have her in the first place.
He never had her, but at least he had her friendship, and I guess that was like that pacifies him.
It's not a friendship though.
No, I know. The fact is, dude, like he put her on such a high pedestal.
Yes,
he didn't even like know anything about her in terms of like her relationship with her father, the fact that she was sleeping with Ian for 2 years. He was just completely just out of the loop, and everybody else knew her situation with her father except Bear, and didn't know anything about Ian except he was the only one. He was the odd man out.
Did you see, Camp, that like they totally represented Ian with the backwards hat and the clothes he wore as like the friggin' bro douchebag guy, and of course she's banging him. And guys, that's part two of the part that men that have been friend zoned can feel for Bear is we've all been that guy that was in the friend zone, and you're there doing the emotional I don't even want to say labor, the emotional it's worse than labor. You're doing the emotional, you're like Atlas carrying her emotions on your shoulders, and then you're right there, and then she sleeps with Dunderhead, and it's like, wait a minute, and of course you are going to compare yourself to him, right? And that's what hurts too. And now once again, this is alleviated if you just don't put yourself in Bear's position in the first place. So the whole thing's Bear's fault.
What do you mean, like don't shit where you eat?
Well, that's another thing. Don't date your coworkers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think we've all made that mistake at one point. I know I have. Okay, and it gets really fucking awkward at work when it doesn't go anywhere. So I think it's just kind of a rite of passage, But so is rejection, which I think that was what Bear was just trying to avoid all completely. He was just afraid. Afraid of the rejection and how maybe he was just going to, lose her completely. And I don't know. It's like he had a very immature vision of what love was. And I think that was kind of his catalyst, really, to just kind of make that kind of blurt out the wish the way he did it and not really put too much thought into it. He was very kind of emotionally driven at that point. And but he didn't see love as reciprocation. He didn't see it as reciprocal. Like, you love me, I love you. And once he had this built up version of this chick in his mind, he was like, well, she's a prize that has to be mine. Yeah.
And he didn't think past that, right?
Yeah.
So I understand why he did it, but at the same time, it was a stupid thing to do. And then once he realized that it was against her will and he was still having sex with her and doing that's when things were really, really went off the rails. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they addressed it. They addressed it in the car before he made the wish when she was talking about she needs to basically experience love so she can finish writing this story that she's writing. And, she said that it was a love story and he was just like, oh, like a romance. And she's like, no, it's not a romance. It's a love story. And he's like, isn't that the same thing? In that line right there, if you dissect it down, it shows you the fundamental difference in the way that they think, because his thought of romance is equal to love. Basically, the honeymoon stage is just forever in his brain. And love, true love, is experiencing the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, and growing together, going through all the hardships, but still sticking it out because overall, you're willing to stick it out together,
Well, I'd say that love is duty, honor, and respect. Those three things.
Sure.
If you have a duty to each other, to your commitment, if you honor each other's wishes and you respect each other's boundaries, 1 + 1, 2, and 3, put those all together, and that's how you show you love a person. If you're lacking any of those, you're cooked. Even if one of those is gone, you're cooked. But those three things, you notice that happiness is nowhere in there. Okay.
Right.
But duty, honor, and respect. And this is not hard. This is how everywhere outside the West, this is how relationships are. Africa, India, Vietnam, Saudi. This is
Mhm.
how they are: duty, honor, and respect. And they're taught these things. And there's a societal shaming that happens if you don't do that. If you don't respect, even in Muslim areas, that's your wife. Fine. They, as bad as they treat women there by our standards, there's a way that you can disrespect your wife. You know what I'm saying? And then her dad and her uncles and her brothers will come for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just talked to my wife about this movie because she saw it, and I told her, the fact that Nikki in the movie is very casual when she's talking to the bartender in the bar scene, when he's like, open or close, and she's like, open, babe. My wife, she picked up on that, and she's like, that's the fundamental difference between Americans and Filipinos, because Filipinos, we don't talk like that to just strangers. We don't use the word babe, honey, sweetheart. We reserve that for the people we're in a relationship with. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, that's just kind of like Southern. I mean, I guess you can call it Southern, but also, it's kind of an American thing that, people,
No, it's not.
people
It's
just
a-
are like that. They just say,
It's a passive, aggressive, I don't want to say disrespectful, but it's a lot of women use babe and hun as like in a way to kind of disregard a person. And can't, do you know who BGS Ibmore is?
no.
BGS Ibmore, he's an old school black manosphere guy, right? Old school. I'm talking like 2012.
Mhm.
And he has his channel. He does really, really well for himself. But he's like the Yoda of the black manosphere, right?
Okay.
One of the reasons why he started his channel is because he was married to a black woman for like 15 years and catching hell. But his brother was in the Navy and married a Filipino chick.
Mhm.
And he realized over the last 15 years how much better his brother's life was than his. Because
Better
his
how?
brother, who's black, married a Filipino woman, and he married a black woman. Because his brother's wife was cooperative, was supportive.
Mhm.
He would come home from a hard day because his brother worked at Boeing, and there would be food on a plate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She was just a good wife. She was a good woman, and they're still married to this day. And BGS is actually divorced. But he said that he looks back over all this and realizes that he had a wife who was making his wife harder, whereas his brother's Filipino wife was actually a wife because she was raised that way because she's from the Philippines. She's from a culture that values marriage and motherhood and relationships, and how much better, how much easier that he had that his brother had raising his nieces and nephews who were half Filipino and half black than he had raising his kids, because his wife was so yeah, check out his content though, because he has a couple of videos where he does a comparison of his marriage to a black woman and then his brother's marriage to a Filipino chick. So
I mean,
that's the most common complaint I've ever heard from most guys is, she's here until the honeymoon phase runs out, and then she's on to the next situation until that one runs out.
well, I think now, at least in the West, things are a lot more transactional. Men have to come with a lot more resources and just kind of at a better starting point than just being a guy like Bear, that has no direction in life. Maybe at the same income level as she is, which is entry level. And, a woman is always going to want more, so.
Yeah. I just think that once again, the smartest thing for guys to do is go where they're wanted. Right. And go find someone that respects your boundaries and fits what you would like to build a life with. I always tell guys, red pill and relationships are not mutually exclusive. They're not. I have subscribers who are married. I have subs who are single. I have subs who are MGTOW, subs who are black pilled. You know what I'm saying? Me and my girl have been together for 13 years. You know what I'm saying? Like we're doing good. So I don't get this whole thing where people go, "Oh, if you make the bet, take the red pill descriptors and make the best decision for yourself. If that involves getting married, hey, more power to you. I will support you. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can come to a logical conclusion and say, this is why I think this is the best for me.
Yeah.
I'll support you 1000%. And if it blows up in your face, maybe there's some variable that you didn't see. We'll be waiting for you and say, hey, look, man, we'll help you dust yourself off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll be here.
This is the most non-judgmental place. This is the most tolerant place on the internet. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's good that, guys from all different types of backgrounds, whether they're married or not, or, completely going their own way, we can all kind of come together and, share our thoughts about things. And, there's no judgment here, because everybody's life situation is different. We can only kind of give our advice to hopefully, someone can. What?
Everybody's life situation is different, but we're all the same. We've all simped. We've all got. You know what I'm saying?
Are you saying we've all been bare at one point?
Yes, we all. Sorry,
to a certain extent.
Yeah. And if you say
you have to learn the lessons first. Yes, AJ is absolutely correct here.
Here's the thing: if you were raised right, you end up being bare at some point. If you were raised to believe sugar and spice and everything nice, and women are these you gotta pedestalize women and do all this other, you're gonna end up being bare. Because you're not prepared to actually understand how women are. Because women, especially 19, 20, 22, 23-year-old chicks, like bad boys. They like being treated like absolute trash. They like an emotionally unavailable dudes who treat them like absolute trash.
Like Ian?
Yes. You guys ever
I think that was the main purpose of his character, actually.
Yeah. There was 2 or 3 content creators who were going viral because they were like, why do dudes who always beat chicks always got chicks to beat? He's like, you ever notice that? And it's true. Think about all the most toxic dudes that that are spin kicking broads, you know what I mean? Borrowing money, borrowing their cars. They always got chicks. They always have girlfriends. Always. Why?
Well, I think there's still the variable of the woman too, because there's some women that can be on the outside looking at that, be like, oh no, I would never, but then there's women that are actually in it. They're like, no, you don't understand, he really loves me.
Yeah. I took a gender roles in society class in undergrad, and it was a proto gender studies class because it was an EDA. This is 2003 when gender studies was actually becoming an actual thing. I was like, this is going to be an easy A, right? So I was one of the only straight dudes in the class. There's all these friggin' blue-haired, bull ring having feminist chicks in the right. And then there was this guy named Shane. And Shane, I used to call him the Uber male because he was a 6'6", 250-pound rugby player from Shelton, Washington. So he was from BFE, and he was like, well, I just think that women need to be in the kitchen. I just think that, and all these friggin' feminists were all mad. They were mad. You misogynist pig, you piece of trash. And he had tattoos, and he was driving a Camaro and all this other stuff, or whatever. So I didn't see him again until senior year, and I'm like, Shane, hey, what's up, dude? What's up? How you doing? He goes, hey, man, good. I'm like, oh, bro, you had a rough time in that gender studies class, huh? He goes, are you kidding, dude? I smashed like 12 chicks in that class.
Well, it was all a cover, really.
Guys, he was just shooting up the club. These chicks would talk all this mess, but then go back to his his dorm room and smash. So they're hypocrites, guys. They talk about women's empowerment and then bang the freaking stereotypical toxic misogynist male. Please.
Well, the thought process was we can fix them. Machiavelli, welcome to the stream, sir. What's up, guys? What are we talking about? Well, we're trying to get to the Obsession review, actually, because we all watched it and we all have thoughts on it. and I have a couple questions actually lined up for you guys, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
So I guess
No, I don't mind at all, Camp.
yeah. So I'm not really trying to do a whole summary of the movie because we've all done that. But I just have a couple questions that was kind of left lingering, and I would like to know what your opinions are. At least what your thoughts are. So let me pull it up real quick. 1 second. I think it is right here. Okay, so before Bear took the spoiler alert, before Bear took the pills and basically Nikki broke the one wish willow, and he was trying to throw up the pills but didn't have the opportunity to. He ended up dying and stuff. If he had not taken the pills, or was able to throw it up in time, and maybe she didn't break the one wish willow, is there any way that Bear could have been redeemed in this story, given all of the events have still stayed the same?
No.
Nah, from the
No.
wishing context, no way.
No, just morally, because he knew that wasn't her.
Right.
So he was, yeah. He knew that she didn't really want to be with him, and that she was trapped in there, and he was still going along with it. So he didn't consider her at all. Guys, this is how bad it was. Is that I'm actually taking the chick side against the dude, and that's rare.
Well, I mean,
this is me.
You're actually not wrong to side with Nikki, because she is innocent in all of this, on all accounts. And that's just my opinion. It may not be the right opinion. We might be completely different on this by the end of the stream, but from what I guess from my stance on this is that Bear is not redeemable. After everything that has happened.
After everything that happened, no. AJ and Camp, you're both correct. He is not redeemable. I mean, if he had actually gotten Ian or Sarah to wish away his wish, that would have made him redeemable. But after everything that had happened, no way.
Yeah, okay. All right. Because, it would basically have to end in his death. And I'm sure that, his character being a coward, he couldn't go through with the gunshot. He couldn't go through with the pills and stuff. And we're, talking a big if in a whole different timeline, that he doesn't attempt suicide, is there any way that he could turn it around? I don't think he can. I think he's just, it's just not going to, he would probably just stay locked in that bathroom until she broke through, Yeah,
you don't do that. You don't take someone's free will away, and then also, the whole, I mean, come on. He knew that she didn't want to be with him, and that she was trapped in there. Because remember, she was asleep, and she's like, "Kill me," and then he still had her around and was like sleeping with her and stuff. I mean, come on.
Okay,
it was clear as day that that's not cool. It's just not. So
Steve M, welcome to the stream. Guys, I've never seen it. Is this movie is it a movie or a series? It's a movie. It is out on Peacock for streaming. It was in the movies, but I think it's out now. Machiavelli says, I'm trying to join the Discord. You can, I think this call here is just going to be limited to just the three of us, but you're more than welcome to stay in the chat and basically just chat, because I wanted to kind of keep this kind of self-contained like the movie. But yeah, I do want to, I have a question about when did you guys think that Bear knew the wish came true? Because I think I have a different answer from you guys.
Well, I think when she was acting crazy in the car, because that, first of all, that scene where she's standing in the doorway, absolute peak cinema, absolute peak.
Oh, I love that. I love that part.
Absolute peak. I mean, dude,
you didn't even hear her go back outside the door. You heard the door close, but you didn't hear her open it back up and close it. I think that was the one part of sound design that was great that they just didn't do, and it kind of left us on edge because it was a little bit eerie. The fact that she was outside the house and we heard the door close. So yeah.
But when she started acting weird in the car, is when he figured that something was odd. And then I think when they went back to his house, when she was in his house, that's when he knew what was up.
In the car, when she came back to the car, he glanced back to his back seat and it showed the one wish willow sticking out his backpack. and you kind of look back at her. So I would say that was maybe a 50-50. Like, he wasn't all the way sure that it worked. But I think that he was just like, maybe. But I think when he re-asked her the question at dinner, when he said, "You love me more than anyone in the world," and then she said yes, I think that was the confirmation.
Yeah, that would have
confirmation.
been the confirmation. But the idea that to the viewer it would have been obvious it was working, that would have been obvious when she started acting weird. Like, this was the character we've been introduced to.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, she was a ball buster, she was kind of like one of the guys, and it was like I think after the morning after, when they both went to work together and Ian was kind of asking him questions and stuff like, "Whoa, did you guys sleep together, whatever," and all that stuff, and he's like, "Bro, did you tell her how you felt and stuff?" He's like, "Dude, I didn't say anything, and she kissed me and all this other stuff," and then she's just been acting really weird and all that stuff. And so anyway, like, that conversation was kind of like pushing it towards like 75-25. Like, he was like, okay, maybe it was the wish, but then it was when they were at dinner. I think that was the exact point that he knew the wish had worked, because he had phrased it just like that. And the fact that she had said yes, I think that was 100% confirmation. And then everything he does after that makes him fully accountable for being in the know that, hey, she has no control over it. This is basically like, I basically have free access, and there's nothing she can do, Well,
I would say that he probably didn't fully understand what had happened to her. I mean, I think if he actually understood what had happened to her, I think he probably would have ran. But yeah,
because I'm trying to think, at what point did he call the hotline?
It was after the whole cat sandwich thing.
And that was after the dinner scene? Or was that before the dinner scene?
It was after the dinner scene.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So after the cat sandwich, actually, before that, there was the cat seance in the kitchen.
Oh, that too.
Which had a little bit of, what's it called? What is that, that type of thinking where they're like in Illuminati checkerboard ground with like human sacrifice and stuff like that with candles. I watched this one video that was just like, oh, this is that triggering and stuff like that, that type of, what's it called? Programming that they do, the Illuminati programming. And then they also, that one scene where Bear is on the laptop on Nikki's bed. They're in her room, and she's playing the guitar or whatever, and he's like biting her leg and everything. In that scene, there's like monarch butterflies on her dresser and stuff, like little stickers and shit. And someone had a theory that he had actually read the story that she had was writing on, with the whole Hansel and Gretel story. He read it on that laptop during that time, because you notice his face is kind of like, he has like a little bit of a weird face, and then he closes the laptop because it kind of made him a little uneasy. And then when she read it again at the party at Ian's house, he had this look of like he had already heard it before. Did you guys pick up on that?
I mean,
well, she asked him what he was doing when he was on the laptop. You know?
I think he saw some of the passage of her writing the story. I think. The whole thing about Hansel Gretel, the whole brother sister thing, whatever, which was it's kind of incestuous, whatever. And I don't know if he had already spoken to Sarah, because she had told him that there was this conversation they had one time about Nikki seeing him as like a little brother, and now it's so weird that they're like super dating now. And I think he just kind of
about that.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Sarah chick really fast.
Absolutely.
I think that was one of the most unrealistic parts of the whole movie. Because first of all, that Asian chick, she was hot. Right? I actually think she was better looking than the Nikki chick, and she was cool, right?
Yeah.
Guys, we're so unused to girls flirting with us, right? Like it would be, she was so obvious that at some point he would just take the L and just get with Sarah.
I think that call that she, or that text that she did, was kind of like a moment of weakness. I think he probably was seeing her like that in that way, you know? I think he would have done something in that car.
Yeah.
But I mean, if she'd been flirting this entire time, I mean, for
Oh, no,
an extended
absolutely.
period of time,
I
there's
mean,
no way that he wouldn't have just said, you know what, screw this broad, I'm gonna get with this chick. I mean, this Sarah chick, she had better style, she was cool, they would laugh. I think she was better looking than Nikki was, and she liked him back. It was like overtly pursuing him. So
yeah, but isn't the kind of rule of life is that we always want what we can't have, and what comes easiest to us, whatever. It's not really a struggle for us.
but there's a cost benefit analysis at some point, right?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Where
Yeah.
this
Well,
is,
AJ, you're also forgetting that most guys don't do the cost benefit analysis till after they've lost a lot.
Yeah,
I
And Baron's
guess.
he's
the
got a
kind of
7-year
guy-
7-year investment
Here.
with Nikki, dude.
maybe
Yeah.
they should have just chosen like a less attractive and cool chick.
Like a
because-
frumpier chick.
Yeah. Have you guys seen Jonah Hill's sister?
No,
No.
I've seen Jonah Hill. I can
Yo,
only
bring
imagine.
her up, dude. Yo. That's the chick that they should have chose. Then I'm like, I can see why you didn't choose her.
No, I think okay. The reason why I think that was all makeup too, because they kind of made Nikki in the beginning kind of like tomboyish, you know, and it wasn't until after the wish was made that she was, you know, presenting herself to be more attractive and stuff. Like in the dinner scene, I think that she was a lot more attractive than she was at the bar scene, you know, and that was all by design, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that it's just like it was subtle, you know. And with Sarah, I think they even did the same with Sarah too. You know, like I guess when she was in that work uniform, it didn't really do too much of you know, it didn't really flatter her too much. But when she was at the bar, sure, you know, she looked attractive. And then, you know, they kind of did the same thing, you know, when you saw her again at the party, you know. So
Yeah. I just think that men, we take the path of least resistance. Or like we're like electricity. This is why women can't understand why men will cheat on them with a bust down. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know
but
if you guys know what a bust down is.
no,
you know?
absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
You know, or like why a guy will, once they break up with her, they'll just get with like a regular chick who they think is beneath them. Well, because she's easier to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, this is an attractive girl who likes me back. I can make it work. You know, Nikki might be the one who got away, but this girl is someone that I could actually make a life with, or that I can see myself being with. And that's one of the things that I can say rub me the wrong way is maybe they should have taken like a more homely chick, or more, I don't know, have Rebel Wilson play the
Or maybe swap out the girl that was in the store, maybe the girl that was manning the One Wish Willow store. Switch her out for Sarah.
Yeah.
Because you know she was pretty plain, you know, and kind of unassuming. I think that could have worked too. But honestly, like I think she kind of served her purpose in the story, though. You know, to kind of like show what Bear had turned his back on. You know, like he was more comfortable with her in terms of confiding with her as far as the cat. You know, like she was the first one to kind of like ask him about like, why are we toasting to the cat, to Sandy, and then you know she actually you know gave him a hug and all that stuff. You know, she comforted him in that time, and then he was there for her when she didn't get accepted into college. You know, and it's just like I don't know. They were a lot closer, but it was still I don't know. It was kind of like how Nikki looked at Bear. You know, she looked at him like kind of a little brother. I'm sure he looked at her kind of like a sister, you know?
Yeah, but I guess here's the thing. She was too pretty to actually be friend zoned by a guy. Look, I friend zoned chicks, you know what I'm saying? But they were just because they were such uggos. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, there was one girl that
he might not have liked
know,
Asian chicks though, dude. It might just been it might not have been his thing though, you know?
What?
True. Everyone does have their own preference.
Yeah,
no, but here's the thing. Yes, but look, attraction is objective and then it's subjective to a point. See, here's the thing about us men that women don't get. See, women think that that all attraction is subjective. You have women like Lizzo who want this. Okay, that's why I say feminism is socialism. They want the Lizzos to have the same outcomes as the Rihannas. Guys, there are women that are attractive no matter what the race is. Okay, Rihanna, Gemma Chan, Sade, Sophie Turner. They're attractive women, and I just named a redhead, an Asian chick, an African chick, and and a black woman. Guys, beauty is objective. Okay, they're subjective, whereas the hair and stuff can help. But you guys know that as men, our standard of beauty is pretty much simple. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A Megan Fox, a Holly Berry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just the way it works. And then an Uggo is an Uggo. That's just the way it works, right? That Sarah girl and Nikki both were conventionally attractive chicks. That Sarah girl could probably lose about 15 pounds. You know what I'm saying? But hey, she was still hot. But they were trying to have her be average. My point is that showed really how weak that Bear was. Is that here he is where he has a better option right in front of him, and he's so pee-whipped. He's such a beta. He's such a goof, a moron, adult, an idiot, that he would actually chase this chick for 7 years. And that's why this is all Bear's fault.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's an investment. He invested so much time in her. Like, he basically had the horse blinders on. We've known guys like that just are having that one-itis, that one girl that is completely like out of their league, out of their reach, whatever, and they just have no idea like how to lock that person down or how to even approach it. Steve M with the $2 super chat. Do not settle. Get that sugar 304 like I did.
Yes, Steve M. He's my resident curmudgeon on my channel. Hey, thanks for being here, Steve. I appreciate you, buddy. He was in my first 116 subs.
Nice. That's cool, man. I'm glad he made his way over here, man.
On my channel. So yeah, guys, hit the like button, please. You know what I mean? I'd appreciate that. So
yeah. So I have a question. So during the movie, Sarah, she reveals the truth about Nikki and Ian's past relationship and begins like connecting emotionally with Bear and stuff in the car. And then Nikki appears, and she of course kills Sarah. At this point, she's operating she's like operating from this one core obsession, that Bear must only belong to me. Sarah's not just a person, she's in the way, right? She represents like another possible relationship for Bear, another person who cares about him, and also a connection to the outside world. So that's why Nikki had to remove her, but then Nikki, she had Sarah's phone after she killed her. And after Sarah died, Ian told Bear that Sarah has been texting me repeatedly asking him to come over. Why do you think that was?
Because she was gonna kill him.
That's what I think. I think
more
that too.
Than likely, yeah.
Because what does Ian represent?
Well, does she think that she knew that Bear knew that they were together? Maybe she thought that
maybe
take care of him, and
because
not
Sarah was there and she had the conversation with Sarah. I think there's still that. I think even though like Wish Nikki and Real Nikki, I think they still share like a mind or whatever. So everything Real Nikki knows, I think Wish Nikki knows as well. So she knows the history with the conversations that she's had with Sarah in terms of like, the little brother conversation with according to Bear. So I think, yeah, she saw that as an obstacle. So
yeah,
I think that was the main reason why she had to take her out. But then, yeah, to get Ian over to the house, I think that was another reason to basically, because what did Ian represent? He represented like her past history, and like previous behavior and stuff like that. And he basically would, I'm trying to think of the way to say this. He would basically be like the guy that kind of would connect Bear to the rest of the world and stuff and be like, yo, you know, like he could like actively sabotage the relationship, maybe get him to be like, yo, you need to dump her, man. You need to just leave her high and dry, you know, like you just need to get away from her because obviously she's already self-harming, you know, she's like, she just needs therapy, man. You need to get away from her and stuff. Like he would have done that. So I think that was her whole mindset is like, I need to take Ian out too.
Yeah, and I also think it's funny that he was like, "She's crazy. She's therapy," as he's banging her.
Yeah.
Which shows the complete like disdain, disregard, and disrespect he had for her, while Ian had her on this crazy pedestal. It's crazy.
Yeah,
like that hurts more when you're in the friend zone than anything else. Is seeing like this chick who you totally pedestalize, and then there's some asshole out there who just is just like it's like taking a bite out of a really good apple and then throwing it in the trash. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I wanted that apple. You know what I'm saying? Crazy.
Yeah, that's like taking a bite out of a Honey Crisp and just tossing it in the can. It's like, dude, come on.
I mean, if after Ian dies, Bear has absolutely nobody, you know, and it's only Nikki that remains. So that's exactly what the wish was building towards. You know, the curse doesn't simply like want Bear to love Nikki, you know, and only Nikki. It wants basically to create a world where he has nowhere else to go. I think that's kind of like the whole point of the wish is to basically, if she can't convince Bear to love her the same way, like mutually, because I think that was also a point of the movie where she's just like, it's not mutual, you know, if she can destroy everybody that's close to him, then he'll have nobody else but her to deal with.
It was a bad situation for him to be in. Once again, he put himself in said situation. So it's like, I don't know. The only good person in the whole movie was Sarah.
Yeah.
Everyone else was a piece of trash to me.
I don't know. Ian, I think Nikki was kind of innocent.
No.
You don't think so?
No, because she knew that Ian liked her. She knew it.
She also knew that Baron liked her too.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what you meant, right? Yeah, I figured that.
Knew that Bear liked her.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't string this guy along. She's calling him and trauma dumping and
but she gave him the shot. She gave him the shot at the very beginning of the movie. She says, "Do you like me?"
7 years. For this last 7 years, she knew that he liked her. She knew it. Girls can tell this stuff.
No, I know that. But I'm just saying, it's just like, in the scenes that we got, she basically gave it to him on a silver platter. Do you like me? Now is the time to say something. And he chickened out. You know?
What I'm saying is,
what is a girl to do after that?
Well, you sit him down and say, "Look, I know you like me, right? So let's explore this further, but don't put him on spot." I just don't like when there's non-reciprocation. That drives me nuts. I don't like when girls play a game with guys, or she should have said, "Look, this is never going to happen. Do you understand me?" She should have sat him down and said, "This is never going to happen. I don't see you like that, but don't call him and trauma dump and do all this stuff." That's not what friends do.
No, but I think the point that she had asked him, "Do you like me?" whatever, that was basically like, "Hey, I'm going to give you the opportunity, and if you fess up, then maybe I will give you a shot." I think that would have happened. I think that would have happened. I honestly think it would have happened if he just stepped up. She was waiting for him to step up. And the fact that he didn't do it, it was she. You look at her face. Look at her face, dude. She was like completely disappointed that he chickened out.
Here's the thing. He's not that dude, or else it wouldn't have taken 7 years.
Well,
she would have tried to teach herself to like. Okay,
honestly, dude,
I'm gonna tell you.
No, hold on. Let me say something. One thing before you tell me the story. I think that the 7 years was only on Bear's end. I think she might have been occupied with.
There's no way
with
She's
Ian, and maybe just saw him whatever as a little brother and stuff like how she really did, and she just wasn't really looking too closely until this movie, the events of this movie. And then the fact that he whipped out that freaky Nikki line or whatever that was kind of like her and Ian's thing. I I think that was like, okay, it's obviously that he's talking to Ian now, an ex or whatever, and now he's trying to basically mimic Ian, So it's like that was just, I don't know, it just kind of tipped her off, and she's just like, look, if you want to end this friendship, I will give you the opportunity. But I think the fact is that she kind of gave him the whole platform to do whatever he was going to do, and he just didn't take it. So then she's just like, all right, fine, She's like, it's out of my hands, because I basically did everything that I can do, and that's it. Like, you didn't want to, you basically went up to the plate and you struck out. And what else can she do? She's not going to open up this again. I felt like she's like, okay, that's a closed book. We're just going to be friends now, By his admission. I just think we're good friends. I mean, how else is she supposed to interpret that?
I just think over 7 years, she look, this is why you don't get anything out of being platonic friends with women. You just don't. Sorry, guys.
I know that as a man, but women see it differently. Women are like, no, we're totally friends and stuff. I trust him and everything. Yeah.
Are demons from the depths of Hades. I mean, let's be honest here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's a guy that I know, and his name, let's just call him Anthony, right? And there's another girl that I know. Let's just call her Stephanie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anthony has known Stephanie for at least a decade. No, I would say 7, 8 years. Now it's been a decade. But Anthony's been in love with this chick. He's tried to flirt and done everything. But Anthony is a neo-maxi Zoom dweeby. He tucks his t-shirts into his pants. He's just a dweeb. You know what I mean? He's not a bad guy. He makes good money. He does triathlons. He's a very, very but Stephanie likes the bad boy type. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
The nugs. She's white, but her ex was this nug who gave her, the clap and then got her pregnant. And so he sat there this entire time and watched her be with all these guys that were mistreating her. And he would go to her house and fix stuff around her house and all that stuff. She got pregnant by her goofball ex. Actually, she was with a guy who was married and her ex and didn't know who the kid's father was. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy was with her the entire time, taking her to her doctor's appointments. His background screen on his phone was a picture of her baby with another guy. That's how big of a simp he was. It was horrible.
I'm picturing Forrest Gump and Jenny right now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So he finally shot his shot. She turned him down. So then in the cough, right? Mm-hmm. I guess she was alone and single and stressed out because she's a single mom. They went out to dinner. She kissed him, and then she just couldn't. She's like, I can't. Like, they were trying to make it work, but she's just not attracted to him. She's like, I cannot. I can't.
Right.
She said she wishes that she could love Anthony, but she can't.
Yeah. And you know what? The heart wants what the heart wants.
Yes. What I'm saying is that there's no way that, do you like me or not? She would have been maybe giving him like a pity bee gibber, but there's no way that she would have.
Well, think about it this way. Think about it this way. I think that if she had given him a shot, I think she knew that it wouldn't last. I think that she knew that maybe if they were to go out together, they probably would have only lasted maybe a month, if that. And then they would probably not be friends anymore after that. And is that worth she's basically moving away anyway, right? Or changing jobs or whatever. I don't know if she was necessarily moving away, but I know that she was going to, pursue writing and stuff and all that, and just put her 2 weeks and whatever, kind of separate herself. So I think, she did value their friendship more. And of course, this guy was just Bear was just biding his time the whole time, thinking that, I'm going to tell her tonight, when we go to trivia, whatever. And the fact is that he kept getting stopped, he would have done it then, but he kept getting cock-blocked by Ian, kept getting interrupted by the bartender and by Sarah. And then, when he had nobody else to interrupt him, he choked, So I think he was probably like, I just need more time. I need more time. And then it wasn't right, Or then he maybe thought that he had screwed up. Maybe the fact that he tried to, or basically she asked him directly, hey, do you like me or whatever? And he's like, no, I think we're good friends, whatever. I think that was like, okay, that bought me like a couple more months that we can be friends and I can still figure out another time to do this. I think that's what would have happened, if they didn't get together. But if they did get together, I think that they probably would have only dated for maybe like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, not a month, whatever. They probably wouldn't even make it a month, and then they would have been done, because she would have saw him as a loser. They would have had that conversation like, what are you doing with your life? Like, do you have any direction at all? What are your goals? They would have had that talk, and then it would have been like, okay, well, you're a loser, This whole dream of being a food critic, and then your whole thought process of how all that shit works, you have no idea. You put ketchup on your steak, for God's sakes, So it's like, I don't know, dude. To me, it just makes complete sense. Oh, and also, he was very, what's the word? Kind of like feminine a little bit, kind of like the emotional tampon type of friend, like he was basically there for all of the trauma dumping, and also, she was also there for him when, when he first moved there, and also when his grandma died and stuff. But like, just the subtext of him like doing like pina coladas and strawberry milkshakes and stuff at the diner and stuff like that, and then not wanting to end his life with a gun and wanting to go basically take pills and stuff. Like, I know in terms of when people are trying to self-delete, when men do it, we typically opt for the quick and easy way, if we have access to a gun. And then of course, the other way would be probably the garage, right? You turn on the car, close the garage doors kind of deal. Let down on the windows.
Yeah.
And then women will opt for pills. Like statistically, they will go with the pills.
Yeah, women try to do it more, but men are actually more successful.
I've heard that too. So, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think his character being written as a coward, and I also know the whole him trying to throw up the pills at the last second, that was actually the actor actually that suggested that. And I think it works perfect, I think, because in the original script, he was supposed to just blow his brains out in front of Nikki, and then she was supposed to come back to her body, and then that would have ended it. But I think the ending we got was a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where this is what happens when you live a woman-centric life.
You centering women.
You gotta, be the best version of yourself that you can be, and women are a byproduct of your success.
Absolutely.
Guys, women respect guys. That's one thing that I can say about my dad. And he told my mom, look, you're either on this train or you're not. You know what I mean? But I'm going to do what I think is best. And if you're going to stick around, it's my way or the highway. Guys, my way or the highway is not a bad thing. Especially when if you meet a woman and you have a better track record of good decisions and good life decisions, why shouldn't it be your way or the highway?
Mm-hmm.
If you are an accomplished man with investments and a high-paying job, or even like a decent job and no debt, why wouldn't you want to be the one who's ultimately responsible for all the decisions? Why? You're more qualified.
Yeah.
I have my one friend, he makes $600,000 a year, and he lets his wife make too many of the decisions. I'm like, bro, you make $600,000 a year and you're a PhD in chemistry. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Well, what decisions are we talking about?
Well, okay, so like he wanted 3 or 4 kids, and she has like 3 bachelor's degrees, but she was 34 when they first got married, and she's like, well, I want to wait till I find a job to have kids. So they wasted 3.5 years of her trying to find a job, because I guess she interviews bad or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally have their son, and now they have 1 kid. And
that's ridiculous.
Multiple kids. And he makes $600,000 a year, and she doesn't need to work. But she insists on working part-time or whatever, because she feels like they're not financially secure unless she works.
Where do they live?
So she goes to work and then puts their son in daycare. Her entire check goes towards daycare. So she's not really doing anything other than just leaving the house and working some job she hates and pisses and moans about when he makes $600,000 a year and he doesn't whine about his job.
Okay.
There's
So
a
the money
lot of
she makes
things.
is just going towards daycare, and he takes care of everything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
My best friend, he was the one that I told you guys about where he actually divorced his wife because she wouldn't give him kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a PhD in engineering. He makes $250,000 a year. You know, he's a good looking dude. No diddy. You know,
Mhm.
and he can't get what a Mexican dude down in Guadalajara cutting pineapples at a pineapple stand can get. And that's a wife and children. Isn't that crazy to think about? There's
Yeah.
goat herders in Syria that can get an attractive wife that'll give them kids, but there's men that are PhDs and lawyers and doctors and business owners in the richest kind of country on earth who can't get children. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it all
that
comes
is
down to
crazy.
the type of the type of woman and her background and what she values. Like a woman that values family and is loyal to that. That's gonna be a woman that's gonna be in your corner and just gonna be there to kind of enhance your life. She's gonna take care of the things that are important and not really center herself. But center the family. Okay, so Steve M, he said a lot of stuff. He said Sade is perfect, old, but she was a tease. The bad boys like me 20 years ago. In monk mode, these dirty 304s can keep it. Purse riding equals bang rich guys. He should have brought a doobie and 2 bottles of Boone's Farm. Damn, I haven't heard of Boone's Farm in a while. And then Musashi Miyamoto, the great samurai, said, if I had one wish, I would erase this film from existence. Wow. Yeah, I guess he didn't like it too much. Steve M came back and says, they want to be equal, but they don't want to dig a ditch.
Nope.
Well, I mean, I think the conversation, I think it happened on your channel, actually, AJ. I think it was talking about women and certain jobs, whatever they want, like equal pay. But then there's like, I think it was one of your shorts, actually. One of the women, I think she was a stand-up comedian and she was getting heckled. I watched that earlier today and the lady was like talking about, like something about equal pay or whatever. And the guy was like, well, there are certain jobs that you won't do, like laying concrete, whatever. And she was just like, well, I have a PhD. I don't really want to do jobs like that. It's like, of course, you want to be in an office with AC, behind a desk, talking to people on the phone, like a very cushy job. Like that's what women want. They would rather deal with people, whereas, men are more inclined to deal with their hands. And this is how we're wired. It's like, you're not going to go, a woman's not going to want to go in the caves, and mine for copper.
Women seek comfort. And the thing about the West is that we put the people who seek comfort the most in charge instead of those that create comfort for the ones who seek it. That's the biggest mistake that the West has ever made. We put those who have no clue what the non-comfort world is in charge instead of the guys that take the world and civilize it.
Yeah,
it
we keep
doesn't make
equal opportunity and diversity, and I mean,
they want equal outcomes.
Correct.
And not equal opportunity.
Yeah. And and it's the pressure they can't handle.
We all know you Asians don't count in DEI, right? You guys don't count at all. You guys have that's I always point, the whole Harvard scandal, my home school district in Seattle, they don't even count Asians as students of color.
Wow. That's
Texas
low.
A&M had a big DEI event and it said no whites and no Asians allowed.
Damn. Population was getting out of control, man.
You evil Asian privilege having son of a bitch.
Hey, man, it all comes from grade school, man. We don't take summers off, man. We keep it going. We keep it pushing, brother.
Taking food out of the mouths of poor, starving black children.
Hey, man.
You evil Asians.
Hey, man. Somebody's got to flip the burgers, all right? Come on now. We're going to boss those people around. Come on now.
That's why the whole Stop Asian Hate thing didn't take off. Because you guys know what group was doing the majority of the Asian hate.
Wasn't it black people?
Thank
Isn't it
you
the-
very much.
I mean, I saw a lot of videos of like black people attacking Asians.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So of course the wokey wokes aren't going to talk about that.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, there was just a whatever clip that was shared, and that Brian guy goes, "You don't think that blacks can be racist towards Asians?" And this hot Asian girl was like, "Of course they can." And then the black girl's like, "Whatever, it's two minority groups." She's like, "So what? You guys talk trash to us all the time."
Yeah.
And it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. It's very, 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 very true. Anyways, so
Yeah,
sorry to go off on
reeling it back in. Okay, so I have another question. In terms of at the end of the movie, when Bear has locked himself in the bathroom, and Nikki is just banging on the door or whatever, and then she finally like calms down and says, okay, he's like sitting on the toilet, in that iconic picture, whatever that's everywhere in terms of promotion of the film. And she's talking about, hey, she offers to break up. Maybe we should break up. She was basically kind of walking through, be like, hey, maybe doing this, offering this as an option to him, whatever. Maybe it's, I love you enough to let you go kind of thing. What do you think about that? Do you think that was another ploy to maybe get him to come out and, maybe have more of a conversation with her? Do you think she really truly meant that? Or do you think that was just kind of an illusion because now everybody's dead that was close to Bear? Okay. So for her to say, hey, like maybe we should take a break and everything like that. Do you think that she really means that? Because I think the wish
Of course
is,
she didn't mean it.
yeah, I think okay. That's all I wanted to know. That was one of my questions. Cause I was like, it just kind of confused me. I was like, why would a woman who is obsessed with you offer to break up with you? Or take a break, It's just
a trap.
You thought so?
Yeah. It's a trap.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't know. Like, because I took it two different ways. I thought maybe she loves him so much that she realizes that, yeah, he never chose this, she never chose this, and this relationship is built on a lie. Maybe that's real Nikki kind of like fighting through again, saying that maybe we can break up and stuff. Trying to like reclaim control, like how she's done throughout the whole movie. But I think in the end of the movie, Bear's lost everyone. He's lost Sarah, Ian. He's even lost his normal life, whatever. And now he's like emotionally dependent on Nikki. I think the whole obsession has like that Nikki has is just kind of, it's reached its tipping point. The control was not like, I won't let you leave. It's really, I can offer you the choice to leave because I know you have nowhere else to go. It's like the illusion of freedom, but it's also another form of control. Do you think that's correct? Hello? Are you there? Did I just stun lock everybody? Did you guys just die? What's going on? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Are you guys muted? Did the stream just go down? What's going on? All right. Well, I guess we're going to wait for them to come back. But I guess, I guess going into this whole idea, I think it just... The reason why this scene, why she's telling him, I think we should break up, whatever... I think why it's so important is that it mirrors Bear's like original mistake. At the beginning, he wants Nikki to choose him, but he never asks whether she actually would. And then at the end, Nikki appears to offer Bear a choice, but the audience has to question, is this a real choice or is it just another consequence of the wish, And I don't know. I think Nikki is thinking... She's not thinking, I want to trap him. I think she's thinking, I love him so much that I should let him go if he wants. And because, her entire love is built on this supernatural compulsion, Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, we're back.
I thought you guys died.
Is it my internet or was it you guys?
I was fine. Everybody said they can hear me. So, but yeah, you guys both went out at the same time. But
Okay, that was weird.
I'm glad you guys are back. But so I was like, okay, so I'll just keep talking. But no, what I was saying is that instead of her saying I want to trap him, I think she's actually thinking I love him so much that I should let him go if he wants. That's how much she loves him. But because of the entire love is built on this like compulsion, that even this like selfless act of like letting him go, it's still kind of corrupted. And it's like she's trying to do the right thing, but she's only able to do it through a love that never existed, you know? And it's just,
I just think she was trying to manipulate him out of the bathroom.
Get out of the bathroom. Just simple as that, huh?
Because she couldn't break the door down. That's it.
I mean, it could be that. It could be that simple. It could be, but I don't know, man. Oh, that was another thing. Okay, so he bought 3 of those One Wish Willows, right?
Did he?
He bought 3 of them. Well, no, there was only 2 that were broken. Okay, and one of them he gave to Ian, and Ian wished for $1 billion. And then the second one we saw was used by Nikki, Wish Nikki, whatever. So there's a third one out there. I remember I noticed that. I was like, huh. Like he had another one there. But there's some people theorizing that he was going to save that extra one for himself after he would get Ian to undo his wish, basically saying that I never made a wish so that he could make another wish again. There were some theories about that, which I kind of thought could have been the reason. But I distinctly...
Assuming he actually planned that far ahead.
Well,
he doesn't come across the type that plans that far ahead.
Well, I definitely see that. But I think, you know, it wasn't until after Sarah had died that I think he kind of came, a lot of his decision making kind of came into focus, because now he's at this point of no return, and he's like, okay, now he has like all the motivation he needs to fix this, because now somebody has died. It's like the fire has been lit under his ass. Finally, you know. So now he's in this like I got to take action mode type of deal now, you know. And
so that's way too late at that point.
Well, I mean, Bear's a coward, though, you know, and it took one of his like best friends and stuff dying in order for him to actually like, okay, I need to fix this now, you know, because now it's starting to affect people, you know, that are close to me and stuff. So, let's see. Steve M came back. He says, "Lol, mine was Japanese and she was evil. She got really fat after we divorced." Interesting. That sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, man. Isn't that in the vows, whatever, that you got to be fit for the person? It's crazy because, like, my older brother just got married today. My oldest brother just got married today. I went to his wedding earlier, and in the vows, I was listening very closely because, you know, his vows were different from mine. One of the conditions of, you know, staying strong together and stuff is to be, you know, fit. I think fit meant like something else, not like physically fit, but I heard it on both ends. Like, you know, he needs to remain fit and she needs to remain fit. I took that completely as like physically fit, but I might be thinking it differently, you know, like mentally fit. Probably that's probably what it meant.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I was like, huh. I was like, that kind of would make sense. Like, I wouldn't want to marry you while you're like this good looking, and then you just kind of let yourself go because you're like, hey, I got you, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I have another question for you guys. The tiger's eye that Nikki gives him in the restaurant, Wish Nikki gives Bear in the restaurant. I looked into this in terms of like the properties of tiger's eye, or I guess what it's believed or what it's associated with. You know, in the movie, they say that it's supposed to give you like confidence and, you know, whatever, the willpower, you know, to do whatever you want to do and stuff. And I looked it up what actually tiger eye is like traditionally associated with. And it's associated with 4 things: strength, dominance, instinct, and territorial behavior. It doesn't say anything about protection, but some people online were saying that it basically it gave her protection. But also, they're also theorizing that the crystal necklace that she lost was possibly the citrine crystal that does offer protection. So, I was wondering, like, okay, so if he had basically, if he had taken that, accepted that or whatever, or oh, I'm sorry, no, let me back it up. So the fact that she was giving that Wish Nikki was giving Bear that tiger's eye and stuff, that was like her last little bit of protection because she didn't need it anymore. Because now that she is under this like spell and stuff, she's basically under his control, you know? So she doesn't need protection whenever she's basically powerless, basically, you know? So like upon watching it like the sixth time, I kind of got that out of it that, yeah, like she wouldn't have willingly given that stone to him if she was in her right mind. The only reason she gave it to him is because she was under that wish, you know? And she's like, I don't need this protection anymore. You know, it was kind of like the Wish Nikki kind of like taking over and be like, yeah, you don't need this anymore. You're under his dominance and control or whatever. You don't have any will, you know, or strength. So just give it to him, you know? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I thought I didn't really get that whole thing about that. I just kind of overlooked that whole part, but that does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting that she gave him a gift anyways, because men don't get gifts from anybody. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way it works. I mean, what gift have you ever got from a chick? You know what I'm saying? Well, my girl's really good at giving gifts. But
I was about to say,
guys, here's the thing though, guys. You know what's weird? And there's a clip of one of my live streams on my channel. You guys ever see that one 70s show where Bob gets Red some shoes? And Red's like, a man doesn't get another man a pair of shoes.
I didn't see that.
And it's like, dudes don't really get gifts for each other. Yeah, you can't imagine you're not gonna. Hey,
no, it's true.
Man, I got you this cardigan. It matches your eyes.
Yeah, clothes is definitely not a gift I would give another guy. Probably a gift card, but that's probably about it.
Well, if we were into the same hobby, you know what I'm saying? Like if we both fished and you needed like a new fishing.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Like in the cars or whatever, like a set of brake pads. But
sure.
You don't get a dude like a pair of pants or something. No. That's a little bit sus. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Like, I would expect a woman to do that because a woman is a little bit more like thinking in terms of like, you know, I saw this in the store and I thought of you kind of thing. But for a man to be like, I saw this pair of jeans and I thought about how you would fill them out. It's just like, whoa, bro. Whoa, bro. Like you need to back it up a bit. Like that's crazy.
The only way I could see that working out is if he's like one of your really good friends and he's just trolling you for the shit of it.
No, he would downgrade himself from a good friend to just an acquaintance at that point. Come on now.
Yeah.
No, I have friends who would troll me for that just for laughs.
Yikes.
Yeah, but come on, man. Yeah. I saw this necklace and I thought the stones matched your eyes. You're like, bro, you need to get off my porch now.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the gift. Okay, he was originally going to get her a crystal necklace. Okay, he didn't know what crystal necklace, what type that she lost. He just knew it was a crystal necklace, so that's why he was asking the lady that worked there, you know, what all these mean and stuff like that. And I think he was going to originally settle on like a citrine necklace until he saw the One Wish Willow, which I looked at what citrine meant, and that one is the one that basically is kind of identified with like protection, like knowing your identity and like emotional independence, shit like that. So if he had given her that, I think that would have been kind of good, even though, you know, it wouldn't be the same or whatever. It would have been a thoughtful gift, you know? And I don't know, like I still think it's a little much to do, considering that, you know, she was, dude, she said ew to him like 3 times. Okay, a total. I counted. Okay, first time when Ian was like, you know, make sure you get your girl home safe, and she was like, ew, don't say that. And then I think she, you know, I guess when he's like, I got something for you, and she's like, ew, what? Like, you know, she didn't. And then like, I think there was one more time that she said ew to him, but it was basically a total of 3 times. I can't remember the third time. So he completely ignored all that. You know?
Yeah.
He had like this cognitive dissonance.
camp. I think the third time was when she got out of the car.
Yes.
Because I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it was
yes,
just
yes.
like-
He said, freaky Nikki, whatever. And then she was like,
yeah,
ew. Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she said ew to him 3 times before he made the wish. And I don't know about you, but this guy is not deaf. Okay. If he was smart, he would kind of take that as okay, maybe I need to stop trying so goddamn hard. Okay. Because, I don't know, man. I think if a woman, like, if you had, like, any chance whatsoever, she wouldn't have said ew. She would have been like, aw, like how girls do and shit.
Yeah.
I think she would have done something like that. But, okay, there's another thing. So when she was in the car and she said something like, if you want to talk about your cat or if you need someone to talk to, whatever, about your cat or something, she says that to him, and then she kind of closes her eyes like, oh, I can't believe I just said that, because now he's going to think that he can just confide in me, whatever, and we can, like, I'm actually going to want to care about this stuff. I kind of got that on, like, the third viewing of the movie, that she was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I opened that door when I said, like, if you ever need to talk about your cat and stuff, I'll be here for you. She's like, she kind of did this like, oh, I can't believe I just said that kind of face. But I don't think he was even paying attention because, of course, he's watching the road and everything,
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, girl, shut up.
Right.
You're just gonna make your things worse for you. Shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, when you watch this movie multiple times, you start to see, like, how divided they really are and how far, where he really stands, truly, like, before she gets taken over. Like, there is no shot. Absolutely no shot. And I know even, like, when Indy Navarrete, she said, when she was talking about the movie and stuff, like, during a panel, they said, like, would you have given him a shot when you asked him, if, does he like you and stuff? She said, the actor said that she thinks that she would have. But I think all the context clues surrounding the beginning of the movie, I think there was just no shot.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's a woman saying that, and they're always said to be nice. But we know damn well, guys, if you're not that guy, you're not that guy. You're just not.
Yeah.
And didn't you say that woman will know 30 seconds when of meeting you, whether she wants to sleep with you or not?
In the same way that us guys know in the first 45 seconds if that's the type of chick that we would take home to meet our parents. We know from the jump.
Yep.
We know if it's a fun girl or a long time girl from the jump.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change. It doesn't.
Yeah, I think that they were just on 2 different wavelengths, and, he was just trying so hard. And in that trying hard or whatever, he just pushed her farther away. A woman can smell desperation, and, he had the look all over his face. And yeah, I mean, I when you say that she knew, maybe not the full 7 years, but like a good amount of those 7 years, I do believe that's true. I do believe that, she knew, but she knew that he was, within a safe distance, that, nothing would actually happen unless she initiated it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even after the wish was done and she showed up to the house after the first night, she came back, she was like engulfed in darkness, wearing the red dress. Even then, she asked him, do you have feelings for me? And he still did not admit it until she admitted that she had feelings for him. Like, what would you say if I said yes? He was just a coward all the way up until the point that it was like a sure thing, Like, he was just playing it too safe, dude.
Yeah, that's never a really good way to live.
But, I mean, didn't we have on my channel when I was talking to Sonic and he was saying, like, look, man, I don't believe in approaching women, I believe in women approaching me, And I'm like, well, bro, you're going to be waiting forever.
Because you can believe that all you want, but you have to make yourself into Giga Chad.
Yes, you have to make yourself attractive and worth a damn,
The type of guys that have women approach them, I guarantee he's nowhere near that. And he's never going to be. Sorry.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot of clout. You got to have, like, a lot of competence, a lot of money, like combinations of all of those. You guys, You got to have your stats maxed out to have chicks approach you. Period.
Yeah, but also I think the mindset is different too, because he believes that it's better to be friends with women first, and then
Wait, how
build off
old
of that.
is that Sonic guy?
He's like in his 20s, man. Like I think
here's the thing,
yeah.
Camp, that I can say. Ghost, how old are you?
I'm 34.
Okay, so you're a little bit younger than Camp and I, but guys our age, we've been through enough to be jaded, right? So like, let's just say that you're red pill. I'm sorry, you're black pill, you're in MGTOW or whatever. A lot of guys our age end up in the red pill space because they've been kicked in the dick by a divorce or fraternity court or whatever. So they have a reason to be, I don't want to say angry, but jaded. They have a reason to want to step away from the mainstream thinking about women. One of my problems with the red pill space is the 18, 19, 20-year-olds. It's like, you can't be as jaded as a guy who got half of the stuff stolen and can't see his kids. You haven't lived enough yet. You haven't put your hand on the stovetop and burned yourself yet. So what are you like? So you can be cautious, but what are you so afraid of? You can't have the same fervor, the same passion that a lot of older guys have because you haven't been through it. You're not even close to it yet. It's all theoretical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those are the guys who fall into this trap. They haven't been with a girl. They haven't tried to be with girls. They haven't even like formulated a strategic way to safely interact with women. There's all F these 304s and blah 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 blah, and then get shocked when even like the guys that are in their 40s and 50s and 60s are like, bro, you need to chill.
Yeah.
That's just not realistic. So,
and these are the same guys that will take the first girl that takes a minor interest in them, and they'll just put it all on the line, I think.
Yeah.
They'll settle for the first girl that comes their way,
Heard too many stories of that.
Yeah. So in terms of the argument for Bear not being the villain, there is actually a good community of people online that truly believe this. And I did a ton of research watching a bunch of people's reviews and shorts and stuff about this. And the common thread around this is that Bear is not a monster who wanted to destroy Nikki's life. He was a tragic victim of loneliness, manipulation, and the supernatural force that he does not fully understand, okay? He didn't know what he was wishing for. So people kind of take the fault off of him because he didn't know what he was saying when he made the wish. So people were like, you can't really like hold him responsible for everything that happens afterwards because he didn't know the extent of how the wish was going to play out.
But once he figured it out, he kept going. That's the problem.
That is the point that a lot of people completely like to skip over. Okay, I'm not going to name any content creators, but there's one in particular that completely glossed over the whole R-word scene, the whole grape scene, and like what he was talking about was that, you get with a Latina, a crystal Latina, whatever, and yeah, she's gonna, you can only be strong for so long, he was like, he was kind of identifying with Bear, and then he was like, look, you either have this crystal Latina mommy, or you have this septum princess who was Sarah. He's like, dude, you never stood a chance. And I think the way that he was kind of approaching the whole thing, he was very lighthearted about it. But dude, his guy got canceled and roasted, and just like he deleted his whole obsession video. Now, I'm not going to say that, we're not going to try to shoot for the stars on that one. We're not defending Bear here, but I just want to kind of highlight the points that were made that people just fully hand-heartedly, they're like, dude, Bear was not the not the villain here. He was, if anything, he was the victim. Because he didn't want power over Nikki. He didn't want to dominate her either. He also didn't want her to suffer. All he wanted was companionship. He wanted to be accepted by her. He wanted the emotional security and proof that he matters, to somebody, whatever. Even though he didn't have much to offer. He wanted the surface level of what Nikki was about. The idea of being with her. He didn't have the maturity of like, dealing with a relationship after the what's it called? The honeymoon stage is over, you know? Like he thought love was just the honeymoon stage and it was just nothing but that. And when, you know, like I said, when he went back to that conversation of them saying, no, I'm basically a love story and a romance is two different things. And he just didn't know the difference. I think that was kind of what was the insight into his whole wish, is that he like once he was getting what he wanted in terms of like the affection and the moments and even the sex, he was like, dude, this is all I've ever wanted, you know, for 7 years. So it's like, you can see why he's like trying his damnedest to keep it going if he can just alter the wish to where she's not as crazy. You know? He's like, I can still make this work. I can still make this work. You know, I can still, you know, have what I want and, you know, whatever, you know. But honestly, I think after he knew that she had no control, like that's kind of where his accountability is. Like, you have to acknowledge it. And I think that's what a lot of these guys online, you know, it was more guys than, I didn't really see any girls that were defending Bear. It was some guys that were defending Bear. And I think what they ignored was the fact that he knew she had no control over the body. And basically she didn't have a choice to say that, you know, she actually cared about him and stuff. It's like she just completely went to that without any inclination on her own, you know?
Yeah, I just think that you know that he didn't really actually like her because he knew, like, once he found out that she didn't actually love him, he stayed with her. It's like, so you want a version of her that doesn't exist. That's what I hate to actually like somewhat agree with this kind of feminist thing about objectifying women, but that itself was a true objectification of a woman, right? He didn't see her as a person.
No,
you know?
No, you're absolutely right. He was just like, he wanted to hold on to his investment that he had for so long, and he was just like, he had her on such a high pedestal. He's like, dude, she's this trophy, and I don't want to give up this trophy just because, you know, it's got a couple smudges on there, you know? And by smudges, I mean watching me while I sleep, cutting my hair, you know, fucking taping the door shut so I've got to have difficulty going to work and shit, you know? It's like he was willing to look past all of that as long as he could, you know, be with her. And honestly, I just think it's like it's almost kind of like teenage love, you know? It's like you don't have the know-how or the responsibility built in yourself to even be able to handle a relationship, and yet you're in one, you know?
Yeah.
It's like once he got what he had, it wasn't what he expected it, you know, because he wanted the real Nikki, you know? He wanted the ball buster Nikki that had her own mind, and, you know, he wanted her to actually choose him, but also still have like her own the original personality that she had, you know? It was once she started going heavy-handed on all of this stuff, you know, and just kind of obsessing over him. It's like she kind of took on his obsessive nature that he had for her, and she just inherited that from him. And he didn't like that, you know? It just molded and twisted into this thing that he was just like, I didn't want you to act like this. You know, this is the extreme version of what I didn't expect, you know? But in his insecurity and his, like, I guess, inexperience, you know? Because this guy was single. We don't know any relationship he was before this. You know, he probably has been single this whole time. I think he's like 25 in the movie or something like that. And
I thought he was 24.
24, 25. I mean, it's that range or whatever. But it's like, I think this was his one and only relationship. I'm willing to say that, like, confidently. If he was pining after her for 7 years, you know, then that means that, yeah, even because they were even talking about when they were in high school and stuff together.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure that he didn't have a girlfriend all through high school. And, you know, this was just like, this was it for him, you know? And everybody knows that first relationship is always going to hurt the hardest, right? You know? I mean,
yeah.
So I think that's kind of something that a lot of people don't really look into, is that, yeah, that first relationship, you think it's going to work out forever because you don't know anything else. You don't have nothing else to compare it to, you know? And I think he's willing to look past all of the craziness that was going on in order to like make it work. Because, you know, he was like Steve M said, Poontang is a hell of a drug. It's absolutely right, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
a sad, pathetic person, and I just don't have any type of sympathy for the guy.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the only person that I felt bad for was that Sarah chick, honestly, because you know somehow she started to like that bear guy, and he was a total goof, and then I don't know, if a chick's too much trouble, guys, she's not worth it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I interviewed Paul Elam and he was saying self-respect. Guys, have some self-respect. You know?
Yeah.
Guys, you're better off doing anything than pining after some broad who won't give you the time of day. Yeah. Have some self-respect.
But okay, so Bear wishing for love when, you know, I'm sure he loved his grandmother. I'm sure he loved his cat. But when I looked into it, when he was on that probe website, you know, looking up the One Wish Willow, if you look on the sidebar in terms of like past research history, there's stuff talking about, you know, putting I guess researching like nursing homes, you know, for his grandmother, and then also researching Oxycontin and stuff. So I'm guessing after he put his grandmother in a nursing home, you know, he kept the Oxycontin in there, and maybe he had taken it at some point and maybe forgot to put the lid back on, because I'm pretty sure the cat didn't open the pill bottle. Okay, so I'm thinking that he probably left it on the floor, and the cat got into it, and yeah, he was really close to the cat. And he was crying over the cat, but then he just threw the cat in the trash, you know? Like, he didn't bury it, you know? He didn't do nothing. He just threw it in the trash. So I think it's kind of like, if you look at that whole situation, like, he loved the cat, but he loved it to like a certain extent, whatever. He got over the cat really quick because he just was right back on Nikki again, you know? So yeah. I think that, yeah, I think in a way he was kind of a manipulator in a way. I mean, this is stuff that like context clues in the movie. He got his grandmother put into a what's it called, a nursing home, which she died. Okay, so he took over the house. Maybe that was like a whole ploy so he can have a place to stay. You know. Then he had the cat. Maybe it was his grandmother's cat, whatever. He probably was not that responsible with the cat. Probably took some Oxycontin, maybe left the pill bottle, whatever, on the counter or something, and didn't put the cap on, you know? But then when he came home and the cat was dead, he was just like, what did you do? Whatever. Like, he doesn't take responsibility for anything, you know?
True. Very true.
So I kind of looked at that I was like, okay, so if he's not going to take responsibility for the cat dying, his grandmother dying, or this wish that he made that has put Nikki in this like fucked up hell, then yeah, he's gonna ask the question, like, he's gonna be so self-centered on himself, and he's gonna ask that question, you know, what would be so bad about being with me, you know? Like, he's still gonna be self-centered in that whole aspect of saying like, yeah, you want to die and stuff, but like, what's the problem, you know? Like, I'm not gonna hurt you, you know, I'm just gonna be here for you. I just need you to not be so crazy. You know? But no, I don't know. I just think that Bear does not take accountability for the things that happen in his life.
Do you remember that old school Tales from the Crypt episode where this happens? Where the guy's name is Edward, and there's a girl he likes, and he wishes that she's in love with him, and then she's like all crazy. Then he actually self deletes at the end. Then he's in the afterlife, and she's like, Edward. And he's like, she's all jacked up. She's like, I couldn't live with him without you, so I threw myself off the building. So now he's stuck with her in the afterlife too.
Oh shit! No, I never saw that.
Yeah, check out Tales from the Crypt, man.
I actually think I saw the tail end of that episode once.
Yeah, that was great, man. That was a good episode. So
I remember watching Tales from the Crypt, but there was like multiple ones, and I've also seen the one I remember that kind of stuck out to me was the roach one, where the guy basically was in the house with a bunch of roaches.
Yeah. Well, The Outer Limits was really good too. Those two shows were on
Hmm.
in the 90s and they were really, really, really good. So, but yeah, I think that the whole they're talking about incel culture and consent and all this other stuff, and it's
Hmm.
like just take the movie for what it is. Like, um, all these things that they're talking. Okay, in general, people know that what Bear did was wrong. They know it. That's the whole point. Why it's a thriller movie and not like a superhero movie. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not painting Bear out to be some hero. That's just a thing. And people are acting like the director for even making this movie is somehow promoting some evil, misogynist agenda, kind of like they were trying to trap Quentin Tarantino and say that because he made a Western film in slave times that he's somehow okay with slavery. It's like, are we that stupid now that we don't get like, you know,
Nuance.
yeah.
No, I can't believe people would attack the director because I think he made a very relatable story, honestly. Just to a certain extent for every man, I think we all kind of go through that in our, younger years and stuff. But
But women go through that with Chads though. That's just the thing.
right.
These women pine away for Adonis, right?
Hmm.
And the Bear was to Nikki what some girl who's with some guy that uses her for money and comes over at 2 a.m. She's the 2 a.m. special, or the girl who's in a relationship and gives him everything, and then he won't marry her. That's the equivalent, you know?
Yeah, I
So
really see that.
If the genders were reversed and the woman made the wish that Bear would love her more than anyone in the fucking world, do you think that movie would be successful?
well, look at Wonder Woman 1984, right? She made the wish, and then Steve Trevor came back in some other guy's body, and they were having sex and everything, and nobody said anything. I think some people pointed it out, but like it wasn't like this big uproar over consent and all this other stuff. But that was literally another guy's body, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I saw that movie. I didn't even draw that connection. That actually makes sense, dude. Like, it doesn't. It's not really something that registers in your mind. Oh, a woman getting what she wants. Like, that's how it should be. Like, that's what the majority of women will say, right?
I didn't even see that part of the movie. The part I got to see was the part where all the wishes are going off, and I was just dying laughing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that I don't think the movie would have been as successful if the genders were reversed and like she was obsessed with this guy. Because I mean, come on now, how easy is it for a woman to get what she wants in terms of like, if she's even an average girl can get what she wants in terms of
I also
if
think
she's
that men are portrayed as being monsters. So like her making the wish, she's some dorky girl and finds some Chad, and then all of a sudden he's obsessed with her, and he becomes the bad guy.
right.
I mean, they paint men out to be that way, anyways. But look at that show, You, where the guy is like an absolute Chad, but he's a serial killer.
Hmm.
That show did pretty well, you know.
Talking about Dexter?
No, it's
No,
called
You.
You. I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
he's just
I think women they kind of identify with the whole fantasy of being with like a dangerous guy, like that whole thing with Luigi Mangione, whatever, and women were like, going to his court cases and stuff, and just thinking that he was so attractive and everything. Girls were saying like,
Ted Bundy.
well,
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy
Oh
too. I mean,
gosh.
that happened in that too. But like, yeah, it's like for some reason, girls are like drawn to dangerous men. For some reason, it's just this weird like fetish or something. But it's like, I mean, you put yourself in this situation. You don't think you could possibly get it too. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of crazy. But okay, so at the end of the movie, I just want to kind of spitball with you guys in terms of ideas. So Nikki, she comes back, she's back in herself and everybody else is dead. And, There was a fan thing that was made where basically it showed like her mugshot and basically everything that happened afterwards, whatever, like basically the police, they were able to secure the $1 billion. They were able, it's kind of like an investigation. They think that maybe it was possible cartel involvement, and that she's basically being held against, not against her will, but she's basically being held for questioning and stuff. And she's being tried for the 3 murders. What do you think would, I guess if you were to kind of spitball how this would end for her, like, what do you think?
She could just say that she had some mental health problems, and then she'd probably, I don't know, she'd probably do some jail time, but it's not like she would be, I mean, she's a woman. So
she doesn't have any priors. Yeah. No priors. Yeah. There was a lot of witnesses at that party too that saw her self-harm, so maybe she's mentally unstable.
Yeah, if she had the right lawyer and with every way and with her erratic behavior, an insanity plea could really go through here. Temporary insanity, but still. Yeah.
No, I think if anything, she would probably end up in like a mental institution, heavily on drugs, for whatever depression that she has, or survival's guilt or whatever you want to call it. But I think also she would probably, I don't know, man. I think that the popularity of the One Wish Willow would probably like circle around back to her. Like she would still remember everything that happened, and she would probably see like advertisements. She would start seeing, because how like, you think of things and then eventually you get advertisements on your phone and stuff. Maybe she starts seeing like commercials on the hospital television for One Wish Willows, whatever. And that's what kind of like motivates her to possibly do something about it, Or maybe she doesn't. Maybe she just like, oh, that's fucked up, or maybe she just, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that could happen, but I just don't think it would be a good idea to really explore in terms of like another movie, But just in terms of like, I think, yeah, she definitely would be in a mental institution. I think that this whole thing about, 3 dead people that are kind of like under her, there's really no other witnesses. They're going to assume that she's responsible for all 3 of those deaths, even Bear.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but once again, if a woman starts talking about mental health stuff, then pretty much all bets are off, and people are gonna take her side.
Sure.
Did you see that one mom that deleted her 4 kids and then threw herself out the window and then she survived, but she was paralyzed? She's on trial now, and there's women who are like, "You don't understand what she went through. What would drive a mother to do this?" Please. But if a guy did it, they would just say he's an evil piece of trash.
Yeah, or there was that woman in the UK who burned her husband alive.
And then Andrea Yates, we're coming on the 30-year anniversary of her being in jail. She's the one who put her kids in the car and drove them into a lake and then was like, "This black guy stole my car." And then they're like, what could have made her do such a thing? Please.
I mean, I didn't really look into any of that stuff. I didn't really hear about any of that stuff, but I'm sure if you guys have the clips, whatever.
The Andrea Yates trial?
No, bro.
In the 90s, because it was Andrea Yates and then it was OJ. Like the only thing that took I remember OJ attention off of Andrea Yates was OJ. It's crazy.
Well, see, I remember that. I think that overshadowed everything for a while. So
yeah. I don't think
the only reason why I even know about Andrea Yates is because I'll turn on the Oxygen Network and she was featured on a special 2-hour edition of Snapped.
Yeah, just the fact that there's that show called Snaps. I mean, called Snap shows how little that society holds women accountable.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, we already know that the Obsession universe TV show, whatever, the One Wish Willow universe is going to basically be a thing, coming down the pipes. So if they were to bring back Nikki's character or just a mention of her and stuff, they might find a way to kind of continue her story. Like, if not, a whole story centered around her, but maybe just bits and pieces. We get a little bit stuff. But if they were, and I'm just spitting ball in here, but if they were to do a movie of her, like her continuation after the events of the first movie, I think she would try to like rebuild her life by like leaving the town completely, just completely starting over, and trying to rebuild her identity and stuff. Maybe like get a haircut, do a whole change, whatever. But then like she would develop this fear of like love herself. She moves to a different place, and she's already been through this type of like love without consent, this affection without freedom, and then just this devotion turned to violence. Like this jealousy that was just so extreme that she ended up killing people like without having any control over it. And I think it would be a very crazy thing if she came back and was now one of the shopkeepers of the magic store. I think it'd be really wild that like the next person that goes into the store and she is like one of the people that work there, and she like tries to warn other people not to buy that. And by her doing that, it makes people want to buy it more.
Once again, Bear and Nikki weren't kind of like the main crux point, the mechanism that made the story happen. The MacGuffin, that was the wish granter, that was the whole point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Without that, the whole story doesn't happen. So that's what people want to see, is that MacGuffin in a story. Take a story, put that in there. Nikki can't. What does she, now that this arc is over? Like, what does she have to do with anything? Honestly, she's not interesting anymore.
Well, she's the sole survivor.
Yes, but once again, that's over with now. Unless she makes a wish, she has to involve herself with the MacGuffin.
But can she make a wish though? Because that's another thing I was thinking about. Because Nikki made a wish, but does that count for her wish too?
No.
Did she make one?
She made a wish for Bear to love her more than anyone in the world, and he came out of the bathroom and then he died because he had already taken the pills, but he didn't have a chance to throw them up.
Nikki made that wish.
That's right.
I know, but I'm saying it was still her that made it. They still share a body. That's what I was wondering. I wanted to ask you guys that. Does that count?
No.
Well, she said don't wake her up. So I think she was two different people. So that
it doesn't count. It depends on how they want to count it. If you're counting Wish Nikki as a separate entity and one entity per wish, then no, Nikki still has a wish.
Mm-hmm.
But that's if that's counted that way.
What I took from the film, I think that it's one body, one wish. Like,
I don't think so.
There's not like, oh, I have split personalities and all this stuff, or this entity is embodying me, whatever. Because even the director said that it's not a possession movie, even though it has all the framework of a possession movie, that it's still her body that's being used to make this wish. So I think that since Nikki made that wish at the end of the movie, she doesn't have an opportunity to make another wish because...
Well, then she's useless to the story. Unless someone else... Okay, look at the Final Destination movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay? The fact that they survived the initial disaster is what makes the movie interesting, not the people. But they don't keep the people going movie to movie. I believe in one of the later movies, they bring one of the previous characters back where they ask them about what happened. But I can see it happening where someone else makes a wish and then finds Nikki to be like, hey, look, what's going on? She tells them. And then she gets involved and tries to help them stop this whole thing from going on. That makes sense. But as far as following her, what's the point, you know?
Yeah. AJ, for story structure, AJ's 100% on point here. Because unless Nikki actually does have a wish here, there's not a real good point to actually include her in the next one, unless it's like 5-10 years later after she got her insanity plea recognized,
Mhm.
and it's where this person makes the wish, comes to the story that she posts about this, then goes to her and it's like, hey, this happened, what do I do? That would make a great story.
Well,
But
okay, let's just throw out the whole thing that she got arrested, because that whole thing was fan made anyway. The whole like mugshot and stuff like that, that was fan made. So what if she doesn't get arrested? She kind of gets her wits about herself. She knows that Ian has $1 billion, so she gets that money. She hightails it out of there. She goes online, buys all of the One Wish Willows, and that's why it's actually, if you go to the website for the One Wish Willow, it will say sold out, because it's, it's whatever, it's like, that would kind of be the real world reason why you can't buy it online, from the actual website. And she buys all of them and just like burns them all, but of course they keep producing them more, but she does everything she can to kind of like take it off the market. But of course, there's still going to be some that she couldn't get to that, I don't know. Maybe she goes into like a One Wish Willow like fan page or something, people that have them but haven't used them yet, because they're trying to like ask people, hey, what should I wish for, kind of thing, So she tries to like track these people down to try to like get their One Wish Willow from them. I don't know. I think that would be. I don't know. I don't think that would be that good of a. Now that I'm speaking about it, I don't think that would be that good. But at least if you were to show her using that $1 billion for a reason, to actually like get out of town, because she's got a lot of blood on her hands, but then also using that money to possibly find where the warehouse that's making all these One Wish Willows are. And then try to like destroy them. I don't know. I think that would be possibly a good way if they were to write it correctly, Otherwise, I think there would be no other way to kind of really include her in the story, because I think she would have the most motivation to stop these things from being made, because she's experienced it, she survived it, and she understands the stakes.
They said that those are really old. And they're that you don't see them around, so she'd have to find the rest of them so that they couldn't get out. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
They had a customer service though. That was one of the creepiest parts of the whole thing.
And
when that customer service guy, that was creepy.
Going back to she could actually call the guy and have that conversation with him, and and be like, what are you doing or whatever. It's like, I can't believe you kept me. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to shed any more light on that conversation, because I think the less we know about that, the more our minds fill in the blanks about that.
But because that was one of the best parts.
No, absolutely. Like, I absolutely agree with you.
This guy. And like it was, and then she's all screaming in the back. That was one of the best. That was one of the best parts of the whole movie.
Absolutely.
Remember, the last like alien show where they had the alien in the daytime. It's like, no, one of the parts that was cool about the aliens in Alien and Aliens is they were always in the dark. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The best movie monsters are ones that you barely see. You know what I mean? Because your imagination is doing the rest of the work. There's a couple movies where you only see the monster maybe like 15 minutes out of the whole movie, but that's the scariest part,
Sure.
Yeah,
it builds the tension. But I don't want to see like whoever that person was, you don't know who he is or what that person is. We're probably never going to know, but that made it even crazier. The whole wish thing and all of that's the person who picks up the phone.
Yeah, and
you assume
no.
that's a person.
Yeah.
No, we actually because I think in one of the Threadit posts that Bear goes on to kind of get confirmation whether this thing is real or not, there was a person that commented on the Threadit and said yeah, the guy that was on there is a total like jerk or something, so they kind of hinted about him until he actually talked to him himself. And but I think that would be kind of interesting, maybe if they were to kind of revisit that, but again, I really wouldn't want them to mess it up, because I think it does hold a lot of mystery to it. I think explaining it more is just going to take away the mystery. I think you should just leave it alone.
Would.
And because it's I don't know, man, just explaining it more. Because I was already kind of picturing in my head like her soul being in a bottle or something, and she was just on a shelf behind him screaming, and we could hear her through the bottle or something. That's kind of what the picture I got when that was happening. And I'm sure he probably had many people's souls that were probably there too, but he just happened to have Nikki right next to him or something, because she was like probably the newest person to be captured or whatever. But another question I have, let me see if I can find, because I had my questions here. Where was it? Hold on. Okay. Does unconditional love actually exist?
From dogs and young children.
Yeah,
that's my answer. Yeah, I would have said the same thing. I think men, we have to earn our love and respect and stuff,
But unconditional love between two adults is stupid anyways. That's a dumb thing to do. I'm going to love you no matter what. That's dumb. Because that leaves you open to abuse. It leaves you open to being taken
advantage of. Absolutely.
Your mom, your dad, your sister, your wife. There should be conditions for all of them when it comes to love. Period.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. There's just some things that I will not stand for. Cheating is one of them. Putting my life or my children's lives in danger, I can't stand for that either, that's just off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, I think,
what did I say though about the duty, honor, and respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those things make a good marriage or a good relationship. Those are boundaries.
Yeah.
If a person, which boundaries are conditions. If you don't respect those, if those aren't there, you're cooked.
Yeah.
Those are conditions. There should no such thing as unconditional love. Anyone who asks for unconditional love is basically that type of person who says that they're neurodivergent and uses that as an excuse to be an asshole, right?
Right.
A person who says that you're supposed to love me unconditionally means that they can do crappy things to you and you're just supposed to sit and take it.
The crazy thing about requesting unconditional love, that's a condition. That makes in definition makes the love conditional, So it's like almost an oxymoron at that point. But in terms of like children and dogs, absolutely, because they can't fend for themselves, So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, they don't have the reasoning skills that adult humans have. So then it's different. But you can say that that adults are different. Dogs can take care of themselves. You leave them out in the wild, they can get food and do all that stuff. But they just have a different level of intelligence, and that's just like kids. That's just the way it works. So
yeah,
and I would also never mind. I was gonna go say, and people who are yay,
Mm-hmm.
if you have
I get you.
Have an uncle who has Down syndrome, they pretty much love you unconditionally.
Do you think technology, like social media, makes obsession easier today? Like not the movie, but just the idea of obsession. Do you think it makes it a lot easier for people to become obsessed with people?
Yes, because we see it all the time, and people, especially in social media, they only put this version out of themselves that they want to see. Ask all these streamer girls and all these gamer girls and e-girls, these e-thoughts, where they have these parasocial relationships with people, where they come to their house and try and delete them and all this other stuff. Yes, it makes it easier. And there's there's a couple larger female content creators who I know, one in particular, and she said like she has had some people who were really, really parasocial, who are like try and track her down or try and find her or just send her messages, and they're obsessed with her. It's crazy. She's never met them, doesn't and they just have this thing where they just feel like they just know her, or they're entitled to her time or attention. It's crazy. So
Oh, it's like all the pay pigs, whatever, that give money to Pokimane and stuff. And the moment she, said that she had a boyfriend or whatever, like not a majority, but like a good percentage of guys just like completely left because they're like, the fantasy is now over,
Yep.
Which is kind of sad, the fact that you're giving money to a stranger that doesn't need it, that's already a millionaire, but you're holding out hope, and she's just one example amongst many, and it's pretty sad. Hold on, what was it? Could someone use the One Wish Willow responsibly?
Yes, it's possible, but you would have to word the wish incredibly carefully.
What would be... Oh, okay. I was going to ask you, what would be an example of a responsible wish that pretty much could not yield any negative consequences?
Wow, that's something I'd actually have to think about.
You just do what Homeboy did, ask for $1 billion and then just give it all away.
You can't.
Yeah, we've already had this conversation off stream. In terms of like $1 billion coming into your possession, the IRS is going to be up your ass, dude. Like, even if you're giving away for charity, they're going to want to know how you came into that money. You can't just say you wished it into existence.
Yeah, but here's the thing. How would they even know about it?
The paper trail you're leaving?
No, listen. It was cash that fell into his apartment. You go to your friends and just slowly give them the money. Okay, you say, look, we're going to open up accounts in the Cayman Islands or whatever, or you're going to buy a business just like Saul Goodman did for friggin' Jesse Pinkman, and you just run the money through
launder
laundromat.
Yeah, that's the only way to actually access the money, is you have to launder it.
Yeah.
But using a wish responsibly without some form of benevolent force behind it, it's incredibly difficult to do. It's not impossible, but it is possible.
Well, I would say that would be the best way to where, there wouldn't be someone where you wouldn't end up with your well, there could be someone that finds out you have the $1 billion and tries to rob you and kill you.
Yes, puts a huge target on your back.
But if you were smart about it and you just had the money, you shared it with the people who you trust. I mean,
yeah, but dude, you can only be so smart, man. You can only be so smart to an extent. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be watching you from a distance, whatever, and seeing what you're doing that you never saw it coming, So, I mean, dude, a lot of people said money. A lot of people in many different ways, and I even thought about it myself. I was like, I would like to any lottery, whether it's a scratch off or a power number kind of thing, any lottery that I participated in, I would win. Meaning, like, not everyone that I would participate, I would win, but the ones that I do participate in, I would win. But then, even then, like, you would have to, deal with people coming after you because people will get suspicious that this guy has won, three times every time he's played, People would start noticing a pattern, and that would kind of have people converge on you and stuff.
I just think that there's people that you read about who win like millions of dollars or whatever, and like the lottery. There's a few of them, the few ones, and they don't tell anybody. They wear a mask. They keep it to themselves, and nobody, even their neighbors or friends, know that they're rich.
Or they hire somebody to go pick it up.
Yeah, it can be done. You just got to be really, really, really smart about it, and then move to a different country or something. I don't know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I would think I would give an example of a responsible one wish. I would think having the ability to heal people just through touch. I think that would be pretty nice. I think that would be pretty nice.
Camp, do you know how badly that can rebound on you?
Why?
You wish you had the ability to heal.
Yeah.
Guess where that lifespan comes out of to heal? It comes out of yours.
Well, no. Well, okay. I guess that would be the negative connotation. I guess.
Exactly. Like I told you off
Well, I mean,
stream,
no. Hold on.
Camp.
Look at Ray. Look at Ray from what's it called? The Star Wars thing. She was able to heal that sandworm, whatever, and then she was also able to heal Kylo Ren, and it didn't take any power from her.
Yeah, force healing is different than what something like a wish willow would give you. Because force healing is using the force to repair cells, repair the damaged structure. A wish willow wouldn't give you that kind of ability unless you specified that.
Okay.
But saying wish for the ability to heal people, congratulations, that's coming straight out of your lifespan.
Damn. Okay. Well, I guess that would. There you go. Well, I guess you can't really. I gotta go back to the drawing board. I guess. Yeah.
This is exactly why I told you, Camp. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a dungeon master. I have to think of whenever somebody has to make a wish in any campaign that I play, I have to sit there and think, this is how they said. They did not think of the wording. What are the cosmic impacts on reality?
Okay. So, okay, Steve M says, though, it's not unlimited healing, more like a battery. So I'd have to take a break in
Exactly.
between, healings, I guess. But hey, that line would be long, okay? People be coming to me like Mother Teresa and shit. And, yeah, I'd have to be like, all right, one at a time,
Oh, yeah.
Damn, I really thought that was going to be nice. Shit. I guess other than that, I before the thing I was talking about money, I was like, maybe not have an unlimited money, because I know some people said that online, but just to have like the exact amount of money to buy things, like on a card. Not like it doesn't show up on your card. It just shows up when you need to buy something, And it's not like extravagant stuff. It wouldn't be like a car. It wouldn't be like, anything like that. It would be just like, hey, I need something to eat. Boom. I got a card that has this money that can pay for it,
I mean, the most easiest way to protect yourself from a money wish in our modern times would simply would be a gift card wish. Would basically anytime I need a gift card for something, for like food, water, or like a birthday gift, boom, I get a gift card.
Yeah.
But you'd have to word it properly.
Okay. In terms if you were to ask the One Wish Willow for a superpower, which superpower would you ask for? I guess we can't say healing anymore.
Wow.
Why can't you say healing? I missed it. Sorry.
Because it would basically drain your energy if you did that.
But says who though?
The One Wish Willow.
Well, that's an assumption, right?
Sure.
Why are we assuming that it would cost you life force or life points?
Well, my answer is different than the whole healing thing for this question. If I were to take a superpower, I would like to have the ability to turn invisible.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what happens when you can't control it anymore?
But why are you assuming that would happen?
Because every wish that doesn't come from a benevolent source will inevitably go bad.
But you're adding that though. Here's the thing. Listen.
AJ. Almost every situation where you involve something every wish that doesn't involve a benevolent force, think Fairly Odd Parents here, for example, or some sort of deity behind the wish.
We assume that there's a malevolent force. This thing is not a monkey's paw yet. He said that she loves him more than anyone in the world,
including herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, it could be how he worded the wish. We are assuming malevolence, right? but his intentions and the way he worded it could have added that negative influence. I thought it was like a monkey's paw where all the wishes turned out bad, fine, but that's not actually clearly stated.
Well,
Because he
that's
took a
true.
person that didn't love him and made her love him.
Correct.
That was
You're
the problem.
correct. Yes, but you're also forgetting the context of that the wish has to warp reality to give you what you want. And it's not going to give you the easiest thing. It's going to give you the quickest, fastest, dirtiest way to give it to you.
Yes. So how could turning invisible go bad? If you said I wish I could turn invisible at will.
At will. Yeah, that's what I mean.
At will means you can control it.
Yeah.
Well,
So
if you
anything-
phrased it like that, then yeah, you're going to be able to have control, yes. But again, we don't know exactly how literal the wish has to be.
But we don't know either way, good or bad. And you're assuming bad. And what I'm saying is, I just know that you would be able to turn invisible at will.
FYI, Bob came in with $5. Says, don't forget, Ian accidentally wished for $1 billion, and that was not really a bad wish. You know, he just didn't get to enjoy it, but he did get $1 billion, and I think that kind of proved the theory that it's not necessarily a monkey's paw. Like, it's all in how you word it.
Yeah. Well, the monkey's paw in and of itself isn't evil.
I thought it was actually. I thought I thought the monkey's paw was what twisted every wish into something negative. I thought that was the whole point of it. But that's why Curry said that the one wish willow is not a monkey's paw.
Well, I wish that was the case, but the thing you have to remember about the story of the monkey's paw is that what were the wishes that were made during the monkey's paw? You know, the first wish was they wished for money. You know, they wished for a specific amount, but they never specified how they got the money. They never specified where they got it from. You know,
yeah, that's a problem we don't see. Absolutely, I agree with you on that. He's gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah, so the monkey's paw never actually twisted the wish. Then the second wish,
the spell that made the monkey's paw work, it punished you for messing with fate. That was what gave the monkey's paw its power. It was
faith
evil
or
from the jump. Fate, F-A-T-E, fate.
Okay, fate.
That's the spell that gave the monkey paw power. Was saying you do this and something bad will happen to you.
Yeah, like I think if you wished for $1 billion with the monkey's paw instead of the one wish willow, I think that money would disappear out of somebody or a bunch of people's bank accounts, whatever. And then, I don't know, you probably have a target on your back and people will probably be hunting you down. Maybe it was cartel money. Who knows, you know? I think there would probably be a negative connotation if it was a monkey's paw. But in this one, it was a one wish willow. And I think it was just, he just said simply, I wish for $1 billion. And now he has to figure out how he's going to launder that money. Yeah, he's going to have that to deal with. But, you know, ultimately, that's not what happened in the story, you know. But, you know, that probably would have been probably a hurdle after getting that money, like how to wash it and being able to use it and escape the IRS, you know.
Yeah. I think, though that they didn't kind of insinuate the whole monkey's paw thing because I think they showed that his intentions weren't good. Like he didn't have it was just bad from the jump. You know,
you're talking about Ian?
He wanted to force no. You're
talking about Bear.
Bear. Yeah,
okay.
Bear did not make a wish a good wish.
Yeah.
He was being selfish.
Yes.
So that means bad things are gonna happen if you make a selfish wish. That involves someone else.
Didn't what's it called? Didn't the genie in Aladdin say that you can't wish to make somebody love you or whatever?
Yeah,
like, I remember seeing that. So like that kind of like avoided this whole this whole movie.
That's
that's
how the jinn is in fiction. Some depictions of a jinn, they do wishes and then Or like the movie Master.
Hmm.
Remember Wishmaster, where
Yep,
they would wish
I
for
remember
things?
that
It was
one.
always evil. I mean, it was always bad things that happened. So
Steve M came back. He says, "I would buy everybody person micro homestead and link them all together so we all can grow." I'm not really too familiar with micro homestead. Is that like a micro house?
yeah, what you kind of make your own farm, you know,
Oh, okay,
you
gotcha.
properties. So basically like grow your own food, have your own water source. You know what I'm saying? And
Dude,
just kind of live.
there's a lot of city people out here, man, that don't know the first thing about growing food, bro.
Yeah.
People will be like, is there an easier way to do that? People don't have that skill anymore, man. They just go to the grocery store. So, I mean, yeah, that'd be nice. There'd probably be a lot of people that take advantage of that, you know? But I'm sure there's a lot of people that are just like, I don't know the first thing about growing food, you know?
Yeah, a lot of these cities though, they actually have laws against growing your own food and
Yeah,
stuff.
didn't was
Yeah,
it? I
they
don't know if you
do.
talked about this or somebody else was talking about this. Like they're like trying to take away all the seeds and stuff, or make it like hard to grow your own food.
Yeah.
Like they're basically like engineering all these fruits and vegetables to not have seeds, so that you can't like save the seeds and I don't know, replant them or something like that. I don't know if that was you or somebody else that I was listening to that was talking about that. But I was just like,
I've
damn.
heard about it, and it pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though, right? You know, another way the government kind of keep all of us under their thumb, you know, force us into, you know, buying their engineered fruits and vegetables.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. We need to stop this thing where we anthropomorphize the government. There is no the government, okay? Government itself is a set of ideas and concepts that we use to govern. People make up the government, right? So
Mhm.
people are using government to do certain things. When people, and I'm not saying that anyone on this panel does this, but when people say it's the government, they're basically taking the accountability away from these people who are using policies and votes to do bad things.
You're talking about the ruling class, is what you're talking about.
I'm talking about everyone that's involved with government.
Yeah.
The corporations, the politicians, all that, right?
Yeah.
So government is like a hammer. I can use a hammer to build a house, or I can cave your skull in. It's how the tool is used. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's not the tool itself, it's how it's used and who's using it. That's the problem. You know?
Sure.
And right now we have a whole bunch of dunderheads that are being voted in, right? And what happens is that you have modern women who support all the worst, dumbest things out there that lead to the worst outcomes in Western society. It's absolutely insane. So
Yeah. What warning do you think the film Obsession is trying to give its audience? What do you think?
be careful what you wish for.
That's the tagline.
That would be the primary one.
But also, I mean, since we know that One Wish Willows aren't real, I would think there would probably be a bigger idea of, you know, maybe kind of don't be like Bear, you know? Don't be this passive guy that's just waiting for this magical thing to make everything happen for you. Like, go out there and make it yourself. You know? Like, don't be this coward. Don't be a coward, you know? Maybe go after what you want, get the answers, you know, and if you and face that rejection if that's what's possible, you know, because you'll only come back stronger from it. But being avoidant is not going to help you grow as a person.
I also think that they're saying look at what's in front of you, because there's no reason why he should have not got with that Sarah chick. None.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He was probably better off with Sarah anyway.
Well, I mean, they were closer, you know, he confided in her and, you know, they were closer and she basically, you know, was there for him when, you know, the whole cat thing, you know, and the thing is, I think he didn't even tell, he did tell Nikki about the cat, but at first,
Yeah, she didn't care.
she didn't care, but also like I guess when he was crying on his bed and stuff, and then he was like kind of scrolling on her social media and stuff, like he didn't mention it then, but he could have, you know. But I think it was just like he didn't want to, I guess, appear weak. That was my thought process from it. The reason why he didn't do it. And then even when he said to Sandy, she didn't even question it. You know, Nikki didn't question it, and neither did Ian. You know, they're just like, okay, whatever. And it was only Sarah. She was the only one that said, "Why are we toasting to Nikki? To what's it called? To Sandy?" And then that was when he was like, he opened up and told her and stuff. And then, you know, so I think like, yeah, he definitely was closer to Sarah. He felt safer, I guess, confiding in her and everything. But I don't know, man. I just think he viewed Sarah just like a little sister, you know?
Yeah.
He just couldn't make himself like her or even, you know, love her in that way, you know? But I think after experiencing all that craziness with Nikki and realizing that this is not what he wants, I think he's just like, Sarah's looking pretty good right now. Unfortunately, it was too late. You know?
Yeah, it was way too late at that point.
Yeah.
How guys? Hey, guys.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait. You have a question here? We'll do this, and then I got a dip. So because it's getting late here, it's like 2:30 for you. What were you saying though?
I was gonna say, damn. I was gonna think. Oh, I had my question ready, but now I lost it. I was gonna say, fuck. Hold on. Let me just look at my list because I think that was. Oh, okay. If you could, I guess, what was it? Damn it. Hold on, let me look back at my stuff here. Oh, 10 years from now, this is my question. 10 years from now, what do you think people will remember the most about this movie?
That it spread through word of mouth. That it was a low budget movie that started decent and then was one big snowball. It's going to be one of those where they're going to look at one of the most pivotal movies that changed Hollywood back to or put Hollywood back in the right direction, because it embarrassed all of these major movie studios.
I hope, dude. I hope
so.
God,
I'm not gonna lie. I agree with AJ here. I hope so.
That would be great.
How big of a kick in the balls that this movie was to all these idiots that were spending all this time and all this money on all these movies that weren't making anything. And now this YouTuber makes a movie for $780,000 and makes $440 million. It's crazy. Or $485 million.
Yeah.
There's no excuse, and everyone involved in all these big tent movies for the last 5 years, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, I think that's just, you know, it's a lot of superhero fatigue, you know, sequel fatigue, you know, like people just want good stories. And, you know, it can be original as well. I mean, that's a bonus, you know, but people just want good stories, people that we can actually connect with and stuff. Not movies that we have to do a lot of homework on in terms of like, we need to see like 20 of these Marvel movies before we can actually appreciate this one, you know, like movies that can stand on their own. And I mean, it just kind of goes to show that you don't need to have this grand scale. You know, you can have it really limited to 4 characters in like less than 10 locations, you know? And it's all about the story at the end of the day. You know, does it resonate with people? Does it connect with people? I think that's what's most important. And I think, you know, the farther that Hollywood moves away from this, you know, they're going to think like, oh, okay, we just need to go with stuff that's safe, you know? And now, because that's what they were going with the sequels, now they're thinking, oh, let's go with these creepypastas, these stories that start online, you know? And then, or maybe even these content creators and stuff, because they saw what happened with Markiplier, with Iron Lung, that Kane guy for Backrooms, and now Curry Barker with this film. They're probably going to put a lot more trust into YouTubers. But there are directors like Eli Roth that just posted, like, I just saw this today. He's like, I hope Hollywood doesn't get the wrong idea and just gives all of this like resources and stuff to these YouTubers without actually pairing them with people that are actually experienced in the business, because it could lead to a lot of money lost. And of course, some people are just like, dude, who's Eli Roth to be talking like this? He uses the generative AI in his film. And I was just like, damn, that's crazy, you know, that But anyway, I kind of get what he's saying though. Like it's like, you know, let's not just rush to put money behind any YouTuber because they have a film idea, you know? Like let's
But
actually
here's the thing. But they've been rushing to put money in front of any Tom, Dick, and idiot in the last 5 or 6 years.
absolutely.
No,
The
that's
chick
true.
who made She-Hulk, the chick who made the Marvels. I mean, they haven't done anything, and then they put them in charge of $300 million films. The person who did Obi-Wan, they haven't done anything. So I would rather give a YouTuber that's actually made films that have done decent. This guy, he has films that have millions of views.
Yeah,
he has a built-in audience as well, you know.
Exactly. But look at comic books have been here for about 15 years. Where they'll be like, oh, you have a blog that won some awards writing poetry. Do you want to write Daredevil? It's like, why? What does this person know about?
They're going to give Curry Barker Texas Chainsaw Massacre, actually.
But actually, guys, I got to head out. But
I appreciate you coming out, man. Thank you so much.
Have me on, my friend.
Take care, AJ. Nice talking to you too again.
Yep.
All right. So the last thing I want to, I guess, talk about is, I guess, just the film, you know, in terms of like its impact. Okay, so we know that it's made over 400 and I think like 480 something million dollars, whatever. It's like the #1 movie in terms of what has been made under $1 million, whatever. So what is next for Curry Barker? He's got this movie called Anything But Ghost. It's basically, the premise is a bunch of ghost hunters that are kind of running a scam. You know, it's kind of like their business model, that they're going to go into these places and say that they're going to try to, like, you know, find these ghosts, whatever, but really they're just scam artists. But then they actually encounter ghosts. So that's going to be, I don't know, maybe like a comedy kind of a horror movie. Maybe it's kind of border on the line both. I'm looking forward to it, you know, like anything from this guy. He's a guy to watch now, Curry Barker, you know. He's kind of proven himself that he knows how to, you know, put a movie together. He knows how to edit a movie. He knows how to light it very well. And he's very good with music as well, you know, in terms of creating tension. So I'm actually excited for what's on the horizon, for what's coming next. Is there anything that you are looking forward to?
Seeing as how well he did with Obsession, I'm actually interested in seeing what he does next, because this is the kind of potential I haven't seen since, maybe the early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, this is literally like striking gold, man, like creating your own market. And now it's like Hollywood has to like strike while the iron's hot, you know? And I think this next movie that's coming up is going to be a bigger budget, obviously. So he's going to have a lot more resources to really put his vision, you know, to the canvas, you know, and really kind of do a lot more. Because even when he was making this movie, he said that he didn't get, not everything came out the way that he wanted. You know, I know for one that the cat scene where they kind of scroll down and they reveal that Nikki put together like this little like memorial for it in the kitchen. He said that was not exactly how he wanted it to turn out. And then you got the day to night scene after, you know, she was like watching him sleep, whatever. That scene where it's showing the window from it going from, you know, night to morning. He's like, he envisioned that completely different. You know, he had to make some concessions because he just had to get the movie done, you know?
Yeah.
And also when Sarah died, when Nikki comes crashing through the window and stuff, they had like 3 chances to get that right. And 2 of the sugar glass basically broke when they first were setting it up. The second one broke and there was like a piece of styrofoam that came down in the shot that made the whole shot unusable. And then the third shot, like that was like their last shot and they got it on the last shot, you know? So he got lucky, you know? Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, he got very lucky, man. FYI Bob came back with $2. He says, "Did you see the Spider-Man movie yet?" I have not. Have you seen it?
I haven't. I haven't had too much interest in seeing too many of the Marvel movies after Endgame. They haven't been given too many great reviews in my book. So we'll see, I
Uh,
suppose,
I do
here.
I do plan on seeing it. I did like No Way Home. I thought that was a good one. I liked the fact that they brought back Tobey Maguire and Anthony Garfield. I actually like. I mean, I grew up watching the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, so
Me too.
I enjoyed that one. And seeing him coming back as like the elder Spider-Man, and then even what's his face, Andrew Garfield coming back as kind of like the lesser Spider-Man of the two, like the one that he kind of doubted himself. He's just like, well, you guys have you've been to space. I think I fought a guy that was in a rhino costume, But it was cool that they were kind of like telling him like, hey, you're amazing, man. And I was just like, oh, it's like calling back to his title of the movie. I thought that was pretty cool,
Yeah.
But him getting to redeem himself by saving MJ, when MJ fell off that scaffolding or whatever, and basically he couldn't save, his MJ, or what was her name?
It was Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy, thank you. He couldn't save her, but that was like one of the best parts of the movie, So I'm waiting patiently for Amazing Spider-Man 3. They still have to do that. And
I would hope so, but I don't give much high hopes to Sony to do it.
Well, you think they're just locked in on Tom Holland?
Yeah, they're locked in on Tom Holland unless something major happens with him and Zendaya.
Dude, him and Zendaya are sitting on a pile of cash right now between that movie and The Odyssey. Both of them grossed over $1 billion, dude.
Oh yeah, they're looking freaking pretty.
That's like they are the new power couple, dude. That's crazy, bro.
Oh yeah.
Even what's his face was in? He was in both movies too. The guy that played the Punisher. Yeah. John Bernthal. He's super pretty good too, man.
Yeah.
So FYI Bob came back with another $5. He says the character assassination of Jean Grey was very bad. I believe Jean Grey was played by Sadie Sink from what's called Stranger Things. Yeah. I haven't seen. I don't know anything about this assassination, but in terms of like what I'm getting online, in terms of like possible love interest, because I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, so I would think
Jean Grey being interested in Spider-Man is ridiculous, even from the comic books perspective.
I thought Jean Grey would be like way older than Spider-Man in terms of like the timeline. But so in this one, she's like same age. Are they like,
no. In terms of age, if memory serves in comic book continuity, Spider-Man would be about the same age as Iceman or that generation.
Yeah.
But in the original comic books, no, Jean Grey was never the same age as Spider-Man. She was at least 10 years his senior.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, like I think because I know at the end of No Way Home, MJ and his best friend don't know who he is because everybody's minds have basically been wiped, whatever. So he has the opportunity to link back up with them again, but he chooses not to because he doesn't want to put them in danger. At least that's what I got from the end of that movie and stuff. And he was basically like, I have to go at this alone or something like that. But I'm guessing in this movie, he encounters them again. And I don't know, maybe he sees a possibility of a relationship with Jean Grey. I don't know. I just saw that from surface level from just watching, memes and stuff online. I'm trying my best to just like go in the Spider-Man movie with like absolutely nothing. But unfortunately, being on the internet, it's like it's impossible. Okay. People are gonna be posting stuff and I'm gonna see stuff by accident. So, but no, I do plan. I'm actually off tomorrow. I might take that opportunity to go see it then. So, I mean, it's a Sunday, might be quiet in the movie theater, maybe I'll go to like an early showing. Cause I'm pretty sure the night showings will probably be packed, so
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on how many people are out there right now and are not. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
I definitely want to see the Odyssey because I heard that the Odyssey was pretty good. I mean, I remember watching the original one, the one that had I can't remember the actor's name, but the one that came out.
Wasn't it the one with Brad Pitt?
No, not that one. I'm talking that was Troy.
Oh, it was Troy. You're right.
Yeah, his name is Armand Asante. He was the lead.
Oh, you're talking about the really old one.
Yes, that's the one that I grew up watching. I watched that one on television, and I think I watched that one in school as well. And
I've only seen pieces of that one. I actually want to see the whole thing of that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But so they're saying that this new movie is way better than that. So, and actually, people are saying that it's better than Homer's poem. So I'm just like, okay, let's not take it too far. But I definitely want to check that one out. And I can probably go to Mall of Georgia, possibly go see it in IMAX because I heard that that's the way to see it. So, because I think that was one of the movies actually that was shot entirely on IMAX, I believe.
Ooh.
So
that
might
means
be
the quality is going to be good.
Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I might can do a double feature. Maybe might just buy a ticket for Spider-Man, then sneak into Odyssey afterward. Make a whole day of it. Who knows? You know, that's what I used to do.
If you could get the timings right, it would work out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just 16-year-old kids manning these things anyway, man. So it's just like, you know, whatever. Nobody's checking ticket stubs, man. So
not anymore nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Might have to plan that out. But yeah, dude. Other than that, dude, I think we might have gotten through all the questions that I have. I mean, I enjoyed Obsession. What is your rating out of 10 for Obsession? And after you tell me yours, I will tell you mine.
I give it a solid 8. As long as you enjoy the nuance of it, it's a solid 8, Camp. I'm not gonna bullshit here.
And you've only seen it one time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've seen it, like I said, probably like 6 times now, and I probably would rate it maybe like, I don't know, like, see, I kind of spoiled it for myself. I would probably rate it maybe like a 7, because unfortunately, the movie got memed to hell, okay? And I knew everything about the movie before I watched it. And I didn't watch it in the theater. I think that's another reason why I probably don't rate it as high, because I didn't get the full movie theater experience. I only got it on Blu-ray. I did watch it in the dark, but it's not the same, okay? We know that's not the same. But, you know, so I watched it having known every beat of what was going to happen. So I kind of spoiled myself on it, you know? And
I didn't spoil anything. I actually went in blind.
Yeah, see, I probably would have gotten a little bit more enjoyment out of it. But, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. It still sparked my curiosity. It still stayed with me, you know, after watching it. And then upon repeat viewings, I gained a little bit more of an appreciation for the craft of it. And then also just it was a very, I think it was very smartly done, you know? I don't think it's overrated at all, okay? I think some people have that idea that this is just an overrated movie, whatever. It's not even traditionally like a horror movie, really, you know, because it doesn't have as many like jump scares and the gore is not like as like crazy and stuff. But it's just like, dude, it's like the premise itself is terrifying, you know, and the fact is that having to just, I guess, put yourself in the shoes of Nikki and having to like kind of go through what she goes through, it's like, yeah, that's horrifying, dude. You know?
Yeah.
If not for myself, but to imagine someone that is a female that is very close to me to have to go through that, like I would be horrified for them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, she was basically trapped there the whole time, watching everything, going through everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to remember that she was there the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why at the end of the movie, all of a sudden, the wish Nikki, she's crying, she's upset, she's like, Bear, no, Bear, no. Then all of a sudden it stops. Then she just likes blinking, and it's like, what's going on? Then it's like, then just everything hits her, and then she just really starts bawling. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah, the crying at the end was also probably like the most chilling because you didn't know what was going to happen. Was she going to shoot herself at the very end or whatever? And then she was just like, no, she's just going to continue on, and we're not going to see what happens, And I think that's kind of a good ambiguous ending. It's just enough,
Yep.
just enough to get us talking about it. And I do know that the original script was a lot darker, in terms of the ending and stuff. And yeah, like the whole thing about Bear like throwing up the pills and stuff like that wasn't even a thing in the script. That was just something that the actor came up with on the day. And I think that was great. It's cool. It's just good that they didn't stick 100% to the script, because just in the small changes that they'd made, it made it that much more impactful. And like, I know Curry Barker, like how that last shot, how they go from Nikki crying, and then they scroll down and then you see Bear on the floor, and then they scroll down and then you basically end up on the television being upside down. That was supposed to mirror the first shot of the movie, where you start with Bear looking at his dead cat. Or no, it starts with the television upside down. It scrolls down, and then you see the cat on the dead cat on the floor, and then you scroll, and then you see Bear looking down at the cat. That was the original beginning. That whole part in the diner where he's like practicing with the waitress and stuff, that came later.
Yay.
So like, he was really trying to hold on to like the mirrored beginning and ending, kind of like a bookend thing. And the fact that, he was kind of talked out of it to kind of do this like softer opening of kind of like us trying to get to know who Bear was. I think that was kind of like, that was a little bit more impactful, I think,
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting how that they started it off with the cat's death, but it also did give the impression that it was also his fault. I mean, I got that right away.
Yeah, just that, he was irresponsible, and the fact that he had these pills, not locked away with their cap on, it's like everybody knows that those lids are like childproof, especially a cat, so it's like he had to have like taken some pills, maybe like passed out or something on the couch or whatever, and just forgot to put the lid back on,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's not too far out of the realm or possibility that was completely Bear's fault. But, again, him taking accountability and him just being like walking in on that scene and just seeing the cat dead on the ground and be like, what did you do? What did you do? Whatever. It's like, it was your own fault, bro. Like, you did this.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of that's kind of like, it's like foreshadowing to the whole story. Like, he is responsible for everything bad that happens to everybody because he didn't take accountability for himself. He didn't have the courage in himself to actually tell Nikki how he felt. He would have had a completely different story, if he just did it, even if he got rejected, it would have been fine. He would have been like able to move on with his life, but he just was so avoidant, and that's what got everybody killed,
Yeah. I mean, that is true. I mean, he would have been better off if he had just asked Nikki out, maybe dated her for like a week or two, and then started dating Sarah.
Yeah. No, I totally think it would have ran its course, and either he would have broken up with it, or she would have broken up with him. I think that's a little bit more likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be something like she would be like, look, sure, I'll give you a shot, but she's like, it's not going to be hopeful, okay?
Yeah.
like don't give yourself high hopes. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be. We're not going to be end up getting married or whatever. She can already kind of see the friendship ending and this relationship running its course.
Yeah. Although, did we ever actually get to see what the full warning is on the Wish Willow box? The one Wish Willow, by chance?
Okay, so I believe one of the things saying that you can, it's actually on the website, because people say like, what are the limitations of the One Wish Willow? And one of the One Wish Willow is, one of the limitations is that you cannot wish for somebody to reincarnate, or not reincarnate, but like come back to life. That was one. There's another one. Hold on, let me just go on the One Wish Willow website. That way I can have it pulled up for you. One Wish Willow. And it says, so if you scroll to the very bottom, it says, is there anything that I can't wish for? And it says, you cannot grant wishes involving time manipulation, resurrection, immortality, or creating more One Wish Willows. So that's the limitations for you. Everything else is fair game.
So in other words, the only real chance he had to fix it couldn't work. Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, you can't wish for more One Wish Willows, and I guess having Ian wish for basically that he never made a wish. I don't know if that would have worked or not. Maybe it would have, but I don't know. You know,
if he had phrased it to change the wish that Nikki would come to love him on her own, that might have worked.
Oh, that's what I would have said. Okay, so that was one of my questions. So how could have he phrased that wish to where she wouldn't have lost her autonomy?
The only real way would have been for him to wish that she would come to love him on her own in a natural way. But I think
that's still kind of the same thing still. Honestly.
Well, that's still Camp, that's the only real way it would work.
I don't know. I think him having confidence in himself. I think he like, if I wish I could have the confidence in myself and the drive to achieve the things that I want to do. And therefore, not even involve her in the wish itself. Just be like, I wish I was more confident and I could, anything I sought out to do, I could do it, Yeah,
that would work too.
Yeah, make it about himself. Don't make it about her. And I think, he would have the confidence to ask her. And if he got rejected, it wouldn't matter because he's confident, He's like, it's cool. It's no big deal. We can still be friends. I just wanted to, I couldn't go another day without telling you this, And now that I got my answer, don't worry, we're cool. I'm good. And maybe they could have salvaged something out of that. Maybe there wouldn't have to be a risk of the friendship, whatever. And she probably would have been like, that's really mature of you,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think he could have phrased it like that. Just something where it's like, it focuses on himself. I think that would have been the better wish to make than to, do what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, two very possible paths that could have worked out.
Yeah. But, hindsight is 2020. And, even in tonight's stream, me making the wish of whatever, the whole was it healing somebody. I didn't think of it all the ways out, So, I mean, I think the reality is very real that when you make these wishes, you have to take in consideration all angles, and word things very carefully.
Yeah, that's the reason why I told you, if you're gonna make a wish to heal, it's where does that recovery come from? Does it come from, just your strength, or does it come from your lifespan?
Yeah.
Because, healing somebody's health, I wasn't going to cut into AJ, but because I actually have, from everything I've heard from AJ, I have respect for him and I'm not going to cut him off. But when you're going for healing, where does this healing come from? Healing comes from the body's natural repair of itself. So that healing has to come from somewhere. And if you wish for the power to heal, well, that power is going to come from you. Mm-hmm. And if it comes out of your life force or your energy for the day, or even think of the Green Mile here for an example, Camp. What did he do?
That's right. He did have that, but I remember that. Damn, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, he had to grab them, take the disease out of them, and then he had to expel the disease
Mm-hmm.
or whatever was ailing them. I mean, Tom Hanks's character, he had prostate issues, which could mean prostate cancer. And he expelled it as this cloud of flies, and he didn't have prostate issues anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot
So
that movie, dude. I watched it one time, and I remember the young girls, weren't they like dead in his hands or something? And he didn't get a chance to explain himself. That's what happened, right?
yeah, they just found him and they assumed he killed them.
That's right.
But the truth was, it was the farmhand who was in there causing problems for everybody. And the reason why he was crying and freaking out was because he found them, and it scared him so much. And he was also crying because he couldn't save them.
Right. Yeah, that was a good movie. I mean, that was basically the whole idea, his power of healing and stuff. But yeah, you would have to. I mean, I don't know. It's a good interpretation of it, because yes, I mean, you can't just take something out of somebody and hold it in yourself. You're going to have to get rid of it, Otherwise, it's a part of you now, So that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the reason why I say. That's the part of the reason why I say, if you're talking about wishes to me or anyone who plays DMD in a dungeon master seat, it's like, buddy, let me tell you just how many ways I can mess with that wish if you're not careful.
Oh, it's good. It's a good way to you're a valuable person to have, because then it's like, I can practice before I make the actual wish, Thankfully, with the One Wish Willow, you have to snap it in order for it to come true, So
Yeah.
I think, you'd be a very valuable person to have around if the One Wish Willows were true. So, other than that, man, I guess, is there anything else? I think we pretty much, I asked all the questions I needed to ask. I think we did a pretty good job in terms of like kind of going through it, and in terms of like our thoughts about the movie. I think it's great. I'll probably be watching it maybe 20 more times, just to see if I see anything else different. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think it gets better on every repeat viewing, because I always see something else, So
I'm gonna go see the question list you sent me and see if we missed anything.
mhm.
Let's
Yeah, the main
see.
ones,
No.
the main why I really wanted to ask was, could Bear be redeemed, And I think, it just be all the events being the exact same. I think I just don't think it is. I don't think it's possible, There's just too much. It's kind of like the whole Walter White situation, Have you ever watched Breaking Bad?
I haven't. I think I've seen a couple episodes, but I haven't seen all of it.
Okay, so like I rooted for Walter White the majority of the show, even after like he did a lot of questionable things, So I would be like the prime candidate for like this movie to be like, no, I'm rooting for Bear all the way, because he was a good guy in the beginning. Sure, he made some questionable actions, whatever like that. But then I was like, then he got to a point where like, right when he was in that restaurant and he told her, he's like, I don't really care. I don't really care that you lied to me about this. It really doesn't matter. And then after he had asked her that question, like, do you love me more than anyone in the world? That was confirmation that the wish came true. And he's just like, oh shit, let me just benefit from this right now. And I think that was the point of no return. And that's where I kind of got off the train of like, okay, I can't really side with this guy anymore. Before I was just like, yeah, this is a guy that's very inexperienced with women. He finally got his trophy girlfriend that he's been pining for over 7 years. And he's just trying to just soak it all in right now,
Yeah.
He's trying to look the other way on certain bad things, like he can get over the whole watching him while he sleeps as long as he addresses it. And she says she won't do it again. This whole like waiting for me while I leave the house, and just going where you stand and stuff, like you said, I told you not to do it again, like it's all, I mean, I think as long as I address things, I don't have to worry about it happening again. But he just didn't realize that it just kept getting worse and worse, man. And it got to a point where her obsession took over to where she's just like, I don't want anybody to be around you. I want you to just be obsessed with me, you know? And that was the point where, you know, like it just took Sarah dying and it took Ian dying for him to just be like, okay, I gotta do something now. I have to end this because this is just like, it's like she might kill me out of passion, you know?
Yeah, actually, that was insinuated.
Yeah. I mean, she was knocking violently on that bathroom door, man. And I was just like, dude, if she gets in there, he's toast, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Actually, going through this list, let's see, where is it? You posed the question, is loneliness, where is it? I just saw it. Is loneliness, yeah, here it is. Is loneliness becoming a modern horror theme?
mhm.
I mean, in the right context, it could be. I mean, there's a lot of outer space movies where being in outer space and, you know, just being in the quiet, that plays out there. I mean, Dead Space is more alien horror than loneliness horror, but you could do something loneliness horror in space more than on Earth. Because to truly be alone on Earth, you would have to be truly in seclusion.
Sure. I think you could possibly be like in a bunker and maybe like, you know, a nuclear bomb comes out and, you know, you just happen to be in that bunker at that time when it goes off and everybody's wiped out, you know, except
Yeah.
you and one other person. And you guys aren't even together, you know, you guys just happen to, you were just showing her your bunker, you know, and then,
Yeah.
and now you are tasked with repopulating the earth,
Yeah.
you know?
And Bear, and, you know, let's see, Bear is responsible for about 95% of this whole mess because he didn't know what he was wishing for. And then you know, we can divvy up the 5% to the wish version of Nikki because that wish version just went along with it when she could have tried to be more rational, but just didn't.
Yeah. No, I think it was just like her obsession just turned from like her jealousy turned to violence, you know? Like it just kept going up and up, you know, and it just got more and more extreme. And to the point where she basically wanted everybody to be when basically you wish for somebody to love you more than anybody in the world, that means everybody's secondary. Everybody can get taken out, you know?
Yeah.
So
and then then there's the one at the end here. Is the movie criticizing nice guy mentality? It's not, because, you know, is Bear a nice person? Yes, but the thing that the movie is forgetting, or the thing that most people don't want to acknowledge here, is what you said, Camp, is that, you know, he's a coward.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do anything, because there's a very big difference between someone who's nice, who just doesn't want to rock the boat, and then there's someone who's a legitimate coward who's just like, oh, if I do this, it'll ruin everything I got going for me. And I don't want that. I would rather, you know, keep everything the way it is, or the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to just be happy where I'm at.
Yeah. Just kind of find a way to make it work, you know?
Yeah. That's not niceness. That's, you know, it's just pure fear.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like beyond complacency, you know, because I don't even think he had the willingness to really do anything to change the situation. Like at first, I think he was just like, okay, I just want to alter my wish. I don't want to completely negate the wish, because he still wants to have the benefit of having her love him, you know, just be a lesser degree of crazy. So it kind of shows you that like he is not, he still wants to have a degree of control over her, and he's not really willing to give up that just yet, you know, which any normal human being would be like, oh my God, this is the person that I've cared about for this long, whatever. The last thing I want to do is make her suffer,
Yeah.
But because I don't know, man, I guess like his desire, obsession for her, whatever, just overrides everything. It's like, and this, I think also this being like his first like real relationship, even though it's not a real relationship, to him it is, it's a version of it, like he's, at first he's just like, I just don't want to let it go. This is all I've ever wanted. He even said that. He's like, this is all I've ever wanted, but I don't know, just the backwards walking. What else? We had just all the terrifying stuff of her basically the real Nikki coming, back and stuff, and just letting him know, like, look, I've never been with you, Bear. Like this is just like, I don't know why you've manufactured this whole relationship in your head when in reality, like, we've never had one day where we've actually been, together and stuff like that. It's always been like a work relationship. We just happen to work together. That's it. And I think that was just a hard pill for him to swallow. He didn't see himself as a bad guy. He was put in a very bad situation, and I think he was just like, I'm just doing the best I can right now. I'm not trying to, I don't want to hurt her, but again, I don't want this situation to end because, man, like, I've always wanted this. And I think that was the mental tug of war that he was going through. And if he could have it another way, I think he would totally have it another way and stuff. But I think he knew that he couldn't take her to a therapist. There would be nothing that a therapist could do.
No, not with what was happening with her.
Yeah. So, no, I think that him being a man alone to try to handle this, he was ill-equipped from the jump, and
well, almost anybody who made that kind of wish would be ill-equipped to deal with it. I mean,
absolutely.
Even I would be ill-equipped to deal with it. And I'm the kind of person who would hear a wish and be like, dude, you need to just stop talking and really think about what the heck you just said out loud.
Yeah.
Like, I would be hard pressed to deal with it. Even if I had my own one wish willow, I would have a hard time just trying to counteract what happened.
Yeah. Do you think Ian still had feelings for Nikki, and that was kind of why he was kind of sabotaging his relationship, or not his, Bear's, like, attempt at asking her out?
Well, seeing as that the relationship that was described was Ian and her had just been hooking up, so going off that assumption, either they were F buddies and that's all they were, or he was the Chad she was pining over, and this was just a game to him. Either or. If it's, they're just F buddies for the fun of it, Ian probably really doesn't care. Because if he's got her, he's probably got at least, 2-3 more on the side. It doesn't really matter to him.
Yeah. What I was thinking was that she was disappointed that the relationship with Ian wasn't what it turned out to be. Maybe she wanted more out of it, and he just wanted to have, a casual relationship, and I think that was what kind of pushed her to want to put in her 2-week notice, because she wanted to actually, like, change her surroundings, possibly find, like, real love, so that way she could finish this story that she's trying to write. And she wasn't finding it with Ian, but then Ian was like trying to tell Bear to, call her, Freaky Nikki, whatever, just try to neg her a little bit. And, like, at first I was just like, okay, he's giving him pointers to, try to like, at first, on first viewing, I was like, okay, he's trying to give him pointers or whatever. But on second and third viewing, I was like, oh, he's trying to sabotage, And then when they were at the bar, every time, like, he was like, look, I'm going to tell her at trivia, whatever. And she's like, no, don't do that, whatever. All you have is time. Repeat after me. All you have is time, I think he wanted to kind of keep that thing going with him and Nikki as far as, like, the friends with benefits and stuff. And I think that was just like, he was trying to manipulate Bear into, like, just kind of biding his time and just, don't do this just yet, But then, I think after the wish happened, Ian was on the outside looking in, so he just figured, wow, like, she was on MDMA or something like that, so it's probably why she was so forward with you. And then, when he took her home, when Ian took Nikki home, and then they had that little chat and stuff. He basically said to her, he's like, so you must have been on, like, some type of drugs or something, right? To make a move on Bear. And then she just kind of went along with it. Because then when she spoke to Bear at the house, when she was, like, shrouded in darkness, and she was just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I was on MDMA or whatever. I'm sure, like, Ian told you that Ian told me that, you were freaked out and everything like that. So it's like, she was playing Ian from the conversation, and she's just like, okay, that's a good way to, like, explain myself, but now I can still kind of run this in a way and be like, oh yeah, like, she's had a crush on Bear ever since, like, Christmas and stuff like that, and basically by her confessing her feelings, he's gonna fold immediately, and yeah. I mean, you gotta admit, dude, when she said that line, I know you love me, Bear, or whatever. I know you like me, Bear. Dude, like, that was all he needed to hear.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. You didn't even have to see her face, man. All you had to see was just the silhouette, the little bit of lights in her eyes. But you could see just barely, like, the smile and stuff. Oh, yeah, he was going to fold immediately, bro.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I think that was, he just needed somebody to push him. Bear. He just needed somebody to push him into, finally coming to terms with it and stuff. And unfortunately, it was her under this spell that had to do it, and it could have totally ended a different way if he had just admitted to her. She was waiting for him to step up and be a man and stuff. But the fact is, like, he's too much of a coward, dude.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe if Bear had found his courage, maybe things would have turned out differently. But then again, that probably would have given Nikki more incentive to go and do more. So who knows?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think they should make a sequel. I think we should just kind of leave this one at that, because I think it's going to have a lot more legs, a lot more reverence. People are going to look back on it very fondly, and it's probably going to be talked about for years to come. And I think if they were to come out with a sequel, it would just kind of dilute it, dilute the legacy of it,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they were, the best way to do a legacy or to make a second movie of this would be to do what I think me and AJ said communicatively what would be best would be to have somebody else make a wish, and then they find her and ask for help. That would probably be the best way to tie it to the first one.
Yeah. I mean, we already know the TV series is already, like, in the works and stuff, and it's just going to be kind of like an anthology series, So I think that's probably the best way to go about it, That way you can have more story, more characters, more situations, and you don't really have to be, you don't have to worry about continuity, because all this stuff is happening at the same time anyway, right?
Yep.
So it kind of it gives you a little bit more freedom as a writer to kind of go somewhere with something and not have to worry about messing things up, So
yeah,
I think that's probably the smartest way to do it. But dude, take your time, there's no rush. Okay. This thing is still riding a wave, man.
They need to take their time and just make sure they get it just right.
Absolutely. Well, hold on one second. So I think that's going to be it, man. I think we pretty much covered everything. I do want to thank everybody that came into the chat. Also, Teen Toes of Ghost, and also AJ for coming in and having this conversation. I think it was a good review. In terms of rating, you said you rated an 8. I rated a 7. And I guess
we didn't get a chance to ask AJ, but oh well.
Well, okay. AJ, if you are seeing this again on the replay, go ahead and leave in the comments what you rate this movie, because I would definitely like to know. And for anybody that, let's check the poll, because I put a poll in here. Have you liked this video yet? And 55% says, yes, I have. I love Obsession. 9% said, not yet. I'm about to be triggered. And then 36% said, nope, use your one wish for it. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and end that. There you go. And then this one, if you had one wish, Willow, what would you wish for? Word it carefully. Did you tell me what your wish for? What you would wish for?
Basically, well, seeing as that I didn't realize that there was a time thing there. I didn't realize that, but I know what I would wish for at the end of my lifetime.
Let's hear it.
Basically at the end of my lifetime, I'd pull it out and I'd wish prosperity and what was it? Prosperity and happiness on my bloodline.
Okay.
And that if there was any negative impact from this wish, from me casting this wish, it would only rebound on my body and me alone, nobody else but me.
Okay.
Because that would be the first wish, and seeing as that the second wish, I can't go back in time for.
But hold on, there's one caveat to that wish that you just said. The wish will end once you die. If you're on your deathbed, that's going to immediately cancel out.
Oh wait, well no,
maybe don't wait. No, maybe don't save it to your deathbed. Because that's the whole thing about the movie. Like, your wish will end once you die.
Well, the way that I would phrase the wish that it was on my bloodline.
I think that's kind of like a hard rule, though. Even though there is kind of a stipulation, because Ian's money did not disappear after he was shot. That money is still out there. So I would probably say you might be okay if you word it in that specific way. But I just remember from the movie that, once your wish basically will cancel or die once you die, or something will end once you die. That way people can actually have, a wish or whatever. If they were going to wish something else, it can actually happen or whatever, because if you've already wished for it, it's going to basically be in effect for as long as you live. And if you die, then I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure all these wishes can kind of coincide together, but
well, I mean, Camp, if it's my last year of life and my descendants prosper for a good year, a really good year can throw a family ahead for many generations.
Yeah, sure. I would probably want to wish it like in the short term, maybe, maybe like say, and maybe not a whole year, maybe like like a couple months or something, so they can they can have it now, like generational wealth or something like that within like a couple months. I guess like all within like the rules and tax reasons and stuff like that. Maybe they just had like a good, I don't know, something happened where they came into a lot of money or inheritance or something. And they're good.
Yeah, and seeing as that I can't use the second wish that I would have because it messes with time, can't do that one.
Well, you only get one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, if things in my life had gone well, that would be the wish. At that point, the other wish I would have made if things hadn't gone well, I would have wished to go back, but I would remember everything that had happened, but can't make that wish.
Right. Yeah. Wait, you want to have a memory of everything that happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
So that way I could actually change I wouldn't change, major drastic events that would rattle the whole world. I would just change certain events in my life
Mhm.
that would make it so I'm protected and that the damage done in my life would not repeat.
I mean, have you seen the butterfly effect?
I know. I'm just
Anything that you
saying.
try to do that's trying to benefit your life, you'll probably end up messing over somebody else that's probably close to you.
I know. I'm aware. It depends on how much ripples and you change, because the
Yeah.
butterfly effect states that it depends on how much you change. So if I'm changing,
It could be a single thing. It could be a single thing. Yeah.
If I change one single thing and, let's just say, for example, it destroys my ex-wife's life, that I know that will eventually destroy her life down the road, but won't affect me or our children, or at least not in a meaningful way, I'd be fine with that.
So your wish would have nefarious things, huh?
It might have nefarious things.
Okay. Well,
because my intention would not be to go back to destroy her life. My intention would be to go back to make my life better.
well, I guess that's kind of. I guess that is null and void due to the time manipulation clause. So,
Yep.
I guess your first wish might have to be the one you go with. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think. Yeah. I think that's it, man. I think that's all I got. Yeah. So let me go ahead and end that Q&A. I think I liked it because the one about being invisible, I thought that was pretty cool. Just being invisible, being able to like move through life and stuff. I don't know. I've seen the movie The Invisible Man, and I understand how things go bad. How the guy kind of takes advantage of that and stuff. But I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I would use it for good, but I would definitely enjoy it. Anyway, but yeah, dude, I appreciate everybody who came out to the stream, all the people that subscribed. Thank you so much. Next week we will. I don't even know what we're gonna be talking about, but tune in next week, man. We'll probably be having another discussion, and yeah, look forward to seeing you guys all again. So thank you so much. Joe's Ghost. Anything that's going on tomorrow?
Just my Gothic live stream is going on. I've changed some of my titles, so it's a bit different now. So things are different there, but I will be covering at least one topic and one story tomorrow. And I think I already brought up the story on your, not this week's live stream, but last week's live stream. I'm going to cover that story there. Because it's in my home state and it needs to be covered.
Nice. Awesome, man.
But yeah.
And I believe, was it 5 o'clock Sunday?
Yes, 5 o'clock Sunday, 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Awesome.
I post links up publicly. You can come tune in and watch. And, if you like what I'm doing, you like what you see, like, subscribe, bang that bell. And yes, I am actively playing the game. So if things take a minute for me to swap over, just give me a minute. Gothic's not an easy game.
So I'll go ahead and put Tea and Toast of Ghost channel and also AJ's channel in the description so you guys can go check him out. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Let's give a big shout out to Camp Hustle One here, folks, for letting me join his podcast. Everybody, let's give him a big thank you.
Yeah, man. No problem, man. I love this collaboration going, man. Hustlers Unite. And I'll see you guys on the next one, man. You guys take care.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Peace out.
Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that's it. Hope you guys have a good night. Make sure that you guys click that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it on your way out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Camp Hustle 1. Out.
Hustlers unite every Saturday night. We shine bright, got the spotlight in sight. Live stream flames, haters take flight. Popping in with Hank, keep the vibe airtight.